Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the opening part to What If Goku Absorbed the Dragon Balls. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
In this What If, we start off just after Grandpa Gohan is killed. Goku is still mourning his loss, struggling but learning to manage himself. That is when something really odd happens. As he exits his home one early morning, multiple Dragon Balls start falling from the sky. It doesn't just look like they're falling though, it's more like they're directed toward him. Once he sees them continuing to fire off at him, he aims his power pole and tries to strike one away. However, it just swerves around his weapon and then just slams into his chest. This is what happens for the following balls, and it doesn't even hurt him. It feels like a decently heavy weight at first, but after it's kind of just gone. Lifting his chest, he can then see the Dragon Balls in a concentric ring wedged into his chest. As he feels them, they don't even hurt him at all. What's just happened? Later on in his day, Goku decides to go on a period of hunting. Now he's off chasing after a dinosaur and is struggling to take it down. As he carries on forward, the dino just keeps going. "Just die already," he shouts out, and then he feels this weird fuzzing in his chest. The balls start glowing, then the dinosaur flops to the ground out of nowhere. Looking down, he can see the slight glow through his shirt, although it is hard to tell under the bright sunlight. Rushing over, he doesn't think much of it, then just has the meal before ending his day. As it's night time, he thinks about his grandpa and just can't shake the fact that he's gone. He wants him to come back so badly. Curled up into a ball on his bed, he has his head in his knees. The Dragon Balls then start glowing. Out of nowhere, Grandpa Gohan comes rushing into the house. But what happened? The monster out there? "Goku, you're here," Grandpa Gohan asks. He's hyperventilating and looking around to see that the night is as still and calm as any other. The beast is gone and Goku is right here in front of him. He was the monster, but he was just there. He remembers his mammoth foot closing in on his head, then in the next moment, he was here. Goku almost can't believe it. "Grandpa, you're back. Where did you go?" Goku asks, crying from his presence. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad dream or something, he wonders, before looking at Goku's tail. After this, just to make sure, he ensures that Goku should never look at the moon. He doesn't want to tell such a young kid what would happen if he did do so, or what he suspects at least, so he keeps it under wraps at first. Then Bulma arrives at Goku's house in search of the Dragon Balls. She feels like she hit the jackpot because somehow they're all in one single place. What would make that happen is still a complete mystery to her, but as she sees that her radar is intensely beeping as Goku appears, she can tell it's him. At first, she can't understand how it could be him, since just from looking at him, there's nothing on him. However, once she interrogates him a little more, she can see that the Dragon Balls are wedged into his chest. Why are all of the Dragon Balls in your chest? They were elsewhere not too long. I remember from one of my prototype radars, Bulma states. "I'm not sure what happened either. One day he was fine and the next there were those Dragon Balls in his chest," Grandpa Gohan replies. Bulma then says what she wants for her wish and Goku just gets that done for her. As he makes the wish, he focuses and the balls don't do much at first. Bulma is dubious of his abilities, but then the wish is made. Nothing is done at first, but she has hope. Thanking Goku, she rides off and Goku just leaves her to it. After, Grandpa Gohan thinks that Goku has graduated from his training and wants him to move on to bigger and better things in the form of being trained by Master Roshi, the turtle hermit himself. He starts getting trained by him and Roshi is surprised by Goku's talent as usual. As they struggle through Roshi's training, Goku blurts out something. "I wish this was easier," he whispers, and then he can feel his muscles get stronger almost on the spot. It's like the entire lifting process just got easier out of nowhere and the heavy shell on his back now feels like nothing. His power level has increased to 150. Nothing too crazy, but nothing too shabby either. The training continues and Goku is still wondering about how these Dragon Balls work. Whenever he really wants something, his wish is granted. The only issue is that he needs to want that thing really badly before that wish can be made. If that isn't the case, it just won't work. It's also tied to his energy in some way. When he tries to make a really big wish, he finds himself getting very tired after the wish is made. Also, he can't wish for everything. Even if he really does want something, if it's out of his own capabilities, that wish cannot be made. For the upcoming tournament against Jackie Chun, things get interesting in the final match. Goku steps up to the plate, bowing before the man that he doesn't even know is his master. Jackie Chun reacts in kind and the match is on. Speeding forward, Goku lands a kick at first, then runs around to attack him at a different angle. He's using the techniques that Roshi has given him well and is using his great speed and strength to make those techniques even more useful. Jackie Chun throws a punch onto his chest only for it to land on one of the rock hard Dragon Balls. Falling back, grunting from the pain of his hurt wrist, Goku takes advantage of his drifting mind and flusters him with an intense assault. Without any time to properly react, Roshi is forced to take the full brunt of this wave of attacks right away. They just continue coming and coming, flying out with speed and ferocity. The young kid knows how to fight now. As a result, as Goku goes to try and swing a kick in, Jackie Chun leaps back so that he hits nothing but air. As he lands then, he steps things up with his max buff form. Grandpa Gohan, watching from the sidelines, looks on with surprise at what level of power that Master Roshi has chosen to use here. He's in on it and looks a little concerned for Goku now. Will he last? Jackie Chun charges forward with his more muscular physique and punches Goku straight in his face. He manages to block another hit then slip under another, timing his shots. This does work for a short while, but Jackie Chun catches on and starts hitting him in more awkward ways. This breaks any sense of timing away that Goku thought that he got down, so he does get hurt by more shots as time passes. As Goku has his arms up, he throws a strong jab and manages to throw it straight through his guard. This makes him stumble back and ultimately leaves him on unsteady feet. Things aren't looking good for the young Saiyan. Roshi also doesn't have a great deal of stamina in this form. He isn't going to give him a lot of room. Goku receives yet another strong punch that throws him onto his back and sends him rolling back, but he stops and then looks down to the Dragon Balls just beneath his gi. Should he wish for more power? Is that how he wins this? In the time that it takes him to think about making this choice, he is kicked right out the ring. Powering down, the fight is over and Goku has lost in the final match. After, Master Roshi and Grandpa Gohan congratulate him for getting so far and continue to insist that Roshi is centuries old and has been training for a very long time. Losing so early in his whole fighting martial arts journey isn't that big of an issue. For him to have forced him into his buff form is certainly a great achievement on his part. This just motivates him to train even more. Then the Red Ribbon Army saga comes along. With Goku far stronger now, this army stands even less of a chance against him. Things are even smoother when it comes to his fight against mercenary Tao, since he has a stronger body to work with. What follows is the Fortune Teller Baba saga, and Goku has an easier time against those opponents too. Next, there is the 20-second Tenkaichi Budokai. Goku has 3 extra years to train and so must find an efficient way to do so. I really want someone strong to train with, Goku tells himself as he continues his own solitary training. As this happens, the Dragon Balls start glowing. Next, he is up on the lookout facing Kami. Oh wow, so you're the guy sparring me? That's so cool, I'm in the sky too, Goku says. Hold on, what? How did you even get up here? Kami asks, flabbergasted by his sudden arrival. Alright, here I come. What? After Kami can see that the boy has potential, he has great power and has seen that he hasn't really been training all that long. It's only been a few years and he's already creeping up on Master Roshi's power. Therefore, after these 3 years, Goku gets much stronger than he did through his other forms of training. His power level is 300 already. He can already fly and has learned a lot when it comes to fighting techniques from Kami. Roshi is so surprised with how strong he's become, and Tien is definitely going to be shocked. He makes his stance before the Crane School talent, who does the same. Both fighters circle each other at first, but Tien pounces. Throwing out a wave of intense punches, Goku manages to slip past many with a new sense of fluidity and solid footwork. As he steps back, he just moves straight into a kick at his stomach. The kick is so strong that it stops him completely. It's almost as if he shut down his body. Stumbling back, he tries to put the pain aside and then uses his tri-beam attack. Goku evades the attack easily, and the beam crashes into a brick wall next to the edge of the arena floor. As Tien looks on, shocked at how his speedy blast has just been rendered futile, Goku charges straight at him and lands a second punch that is enough to send him right out the ring himself. The fight has already ended. Just how this has happened is a shock to the Crane School and many of the spectators. Just what monster has Master Roshi been training up these past few years? So Goku leaves his power pole at the tournament and Krillin offers to get it for him. However, Goku looks down to his palm and shuts his eyes for a few seconds. Out of nowhere, the power pole appears in his hand and there's absolutely no need for Krillin to head there. Tambourine is still out on the loose though and needs to eliminate the strongest warriors from the World Tournament so that his father can smoothly attain world domination for himself. Here Symbol is still created to search for the Dragon Balls, but Yajirobe kills him and eats him before he can make any solid progress. What is different here is that the main cast aren't alerted to the presence of these beings. Tambourine is currently killing the other members of the tournament and isn't focusing on people like Tien and Goku yet. And also, since Krillin never went off to get Goku's power pole, he was never there to kill him like in the canon timeline. They are still searching for these Dragon Balls, and little do they know that they are now in Goku's permanent possession. Tambourine then goes for Tien, the second to last of his targets. Tien is training alone and training hard after the loss to Goku. He was humble enough to praise Goku for his win and now doesn't see the Turtle Hermit students in as bad of a light. He instead respects them for their strength that he had just seen. Training with Chiaotzu, Tambourine lands ahead of both of them. "What are you?" Tien asks, wiping the sweat from his forehead. Tambourine doesn't reply, then flies right at him, aiming for a kick. However, Tien evades by leaping back, then dips under a punch aimed at his head. As he raises up, he viciously punches Tambourine, then lands a clean side kick to shoot him back a few meters. "You didn't answer my question. What are you? Why are you here?" he inquires further, now with a louder, bolder voice. Still, he is given no answers whatsoever. Tambourine charges in again, but Tien isn't playing his games. He grabs him by the neck and stops him in place. Squeezing as hard as he can, his muscles start bulging and the demon's smug smirk is wiped away almost completely. Now he is in the face of true power, the true threat to his father's plan. Grabbing onto Tien's arm with both hands, he starts getting some progress with removing his hand, but then Tien drags him forward. As he drags him forward, he stops him with a headbutt to his face. As he falls back, he places his hands into the triangular formation and the tri-beam is shot at Tambourine before he even has the chance to jump away or dodge. The blast is too powerful and he is scorched in the explosion. Without any fighters left to conduct his plans, King Piccolo decides that he is going to go out there and finish this fight off himself. Instead, he goes for Tien since Tambourine went for him first. Things aren't looking particularly great for him upon his arrival. King Piccolo, even in his old age, is not like his son and has some serious power up his sleeve. He overpowers Tien with relative ease, leaving him for dead to then carry on his operations. Next, he is going to take out Goku so that with all threats gone, it will be easier for him to acquire the Dragon Balls he needs. Once he finds him, he feels that it's easy pickings. He got rid of that Tien fighter and this kid here is literally tiny. How he won is a complete mystery to him. So he pounces on the small boy, but he rockets off toward him with explosion unlike anything he's witnessed. In the blink of an eye, Goku already has his leg extended, driving into his solar plexus. He is sent sliding back across the grass and is now breathing heavier from that direct shot to his diaphragm. However, he continues on and tries to attack from a different angle, swinging a leg downward as his clothes elegantly flow from his speedy movement. Even in his advanced age, King Piccolo is nothing to mess with. Even so, Goku continues to look calm and collected. There's no threat with this attack as he just steps back and evades it. Cracks scurry out and reach under his feet, but he remains standing and just makes his stance. King Piccolo now continues with a shout, growing angrier and angrier with the Saiyans' fleet-footedness. Additionally, with his older, slower physique, it's proving rather difficult to catch him. He can just swerve around his attacks and look impossibly calm as he does so. Once he gets the chance, Goku enters flight and zooms forward to crash his head into his chest, using enough force to throw him right down onto his bottom. Now that shot deals some serious damage. The Namekian coughs blood while holding his chest in pain. He was not expecting this. He always looked down on these weak human warriors. Of course he could swoop in and destroy them no matter his age. However, he is standing before a literal child far above him. His mind struggles to comprehend what is even happening. Goku stares him down, with his fists clenched and his clothes billowing under the breeze. The bright moon illuminates the darkness around them and only adds to Goku's intimidating image. Landing yet another punch, King Piccolo is sent rolling and sliding through the rubble, but then there is a singeing pain in Goku's chest. Dropping to one knee, he sees that King Piccolo is no longer responding, and then he hears a weird voice from out of nowhere. "Greetings, Goku." "Who are you?" Goku struggles to utter through his hyperventilating. "My name is Shenron. I was created by the Namekian that stands before you. Well, the person that he was when him and Kami were one." "What, he split into two people? How did he even do that?" Goku asks. "That isn't a concern as of right now. What I must say is that even after their separation, their lives are tied. If you kill King Piccolo here, Kami will also die. Also, to sadly add, after the Dragon Balls were absorbed by your body, all three of your lives are linked," Shenron adds. Goku's eyes widen upon hearing this. How is this possible? If he defeats this evil man before him, he will die as well? That's incredibly annoying. What is good about this predicament is that as your connection to the Dragon Balls increase, I will be able to grant more wishes for you at any time, Shenron adds. Alright, can you split up our lives then? Goku asks. King Piccolo has now made his first movement after about a minute, but is still weakened by Goku's assault. He won't be getting up anytime soon, so Goku has some time to talk to Shenron and try and figure things out. I'm afraid that I can't do that. The way that the situation has been set up means that your life must be tied to Kami's. However, I can make it so that Kami and King Piccolo's lives are split so that only the two of you will have connected lives, but not King Piccolo. Okay, do that, Goku quickly replies. He feels the Dragon Balls vibrating slightly, and since it's dark he can see the glow even through his gi quite well. King Piccolo isn't aware of what's happened, but Goku's essentially been given the green light. Extending his power pole, he strikes down onto King Piccolo repeatedly and he seemingly stops moving. That's when he dashes forward and swings up his power pole to slam it into his face, sending him sliding across the grass. King Piccolo isn't moving any longer, so the Saiyan decides to finish things off with a Kamehameha wave. With the threat gone already, peace is instilled quite quickly. Upon just seeing Tien's critical condition, Goku uses his Dragon Balls to heal him. Now Goku knows that Shenron here is the dragon that is linked to the Dragon Balls, and the wishes of these balls are now basically just his will. To continue his training, he wishes for an even better form of training for him to use during this time. This is when Shenron summons a special gravity chamber for him. It doesn't look like the one Bulma made, but has more of a Namekian spin on it. It looks like a dome-like building, resembling the homes back on Namek. As he enters, there is an easy-to-use machine at the center, and he is surrounded by a rather large open space that he can use to train. Shenron then speaks in his mind and informs him of how to operate this contraption, and his training is soon underway. He begins with the smaller multiples of gravity, since he isn't anywhere near as strong as the cannon Goku that headed to Namek. He needs to start off lighter, then slowly ramp things up as time passes. He can also just wish for Shenron to heal him whenever. The only issue is that these wishes are tied to his energy. There are still some things that are out of his power, but as he grows stronger, he finds that he can wish for more various types of things. After these years until adulthood, Goku is like a totally different person. Unlike before where he went off to train with Kami, Goku stayed with his friends and even they tried out the gravity chamber that he managed to summon. Goku's power level shot up from somewhere between 8 and 90,000 up to that final value. The issue is, we don't know how big a Zenkai was from the fight with Vegeta. If we assume his power level started off at 15,000, that is still a 6 times multiplier in just 6 days. Goku here is healing from his training on the spot, essentially gaining immediate Zenkai boosts after a training session to make himself stronger. This is instead over a period of 3 years as well. I'd have to place Goku's power level at 550,000. His starting power level was much lower, so that affected the multiplier quite heavily. But if he was at 15,000 to start off, he'd be much stronger than he is now. This means that there's nobody that can even hold a flame to Goku in this tournament. He defeats everybody he encounters with ease and ends up marrying Chi-Chi after fighting against her. Then this leaves him with 5 years to chill and just relax with his family. After training so hard in the 3 years to try and grow stronger, it felt much better to take these years off for some family time. After these 5 years, Raditz arrives on Earth and slaughters the farmer with the shotgun before moving on to his next targets that he locates at Kame House. After training with Goku's gravity chamber before the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, Krillin and Tien are slightly stronger. Krillin's power level is 650 and Tien's is 700. The person that Goku can rely on though is Shenron. Do not be alarmed everyone, Goku states with a totally different voice. It sounds demonic and resembles the dragon Shenron, and this is something that Roshi immediately catches note of. I am speaking through Goku's body, but I am the eternal dragon Shenron, tied to the Dragon Balls that were assimilated by Goku's body. I am here to state that the information provided by this Saiyan Raditz is totally correct. Goku is his younger brother and both of them hail from a planet called Vegeta that was destroyed by the Emperor Frieza. This Emperor with his Frieza Empire rules over much of the galaxy that Earth resides in, Shenron explains. Goku then seems to snap back into reality like he just lost control of his body or something. Frieza destroyed it, Raditz whispers, taken aback by that knowledge. This being that just spoke clearly knows way more than it should, but it said a lot of correct things. However, planet Vegeta was destroyed by an asteroid, wasn't it? That's what he's been told his entire life, by Frieza himself. Is that why he called everyone back to the planet that same day? Raditz is left frozen there for a second, but then throws these thoughts behind him before interrogating these fighters. Alright, I don't want to hear any more backchat from any of you. Kakarot, if you do not complete your mission, I will take your son there and complete the task myself, Raditz shouts out. Goku looks defensive and makes sure that his son is kept behind him, but Raditz pounces. Just as he pounces, Goku begins showing off his strength. Just the lifting of his suppressions releases a powerful aura that keeps Raditz back for a second or two. This is just enough time for his scouter to break as it reaches past the 500,000 number. 500,000. 500,000. Raditz is frozen, totally frozen. It's not even like he's thinking of much, his brain has come to a complete stop. Leave here, I don't want to have to hurt you, Goku shouts. Raditz complies almost immediately. He's not stupid. There's no use in fighting somebody like that, he's even forgotten that it's his brother. What he needs to do is survive against someone far above himself. Flying off as fast as he can, he's in his pod and off-world in minutes. Just what was that, Krillin asks, looking at his ship break through the clouds at hypersonic speeds. I really don't know at all, it's really weird to me as well, Goku replies, with his hand on his forehead to shield from the sun. That is it, and there is no given warning as to the following Saiyans that are to come. As Raditz is on his way back to his comrades though, they just keep replaying the recording captured by a scouter. Shenron, the dragon tied to the Dragon Balls, is simulated by Goku. First of all, it takes them a while, but they figure out that Goku is the earthly name of Kakarot. Also, it seems like the Dragon Balls of Legend are real, and the dragon tied to them might be able to get them whatever they wish. The whole situation doesn't make much sense right now, but they prepare to leave. Raditz gets in connection with them, and he is ridiculed for his cowardly behaviour against Goku. Vegeta even has the right man to kill him, but acts as if he's joking when he sees how Nappa reacts to his taunts. The three Saiyans are then off toward Earth, and Raditz makes sure to only get back there when he has Nappa and Vegeta to act as security. 10 months pass and Goku has started getting back into some light training. His power level is lifted up to 600,000, which is somewhat impressive. This is when the Saiyans arrive on Earth. Goku can sense their ki and realizes that one of them is Raditz. Asking Shenron, he elaborates. The three Saiyans that have arrived are referred to as Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta. Nappa is a 51-year-old Saiyan male. He was middle class in terms of social ranking back on planet Vegeta and listens to Vegeta. Vegeta, also known as Prince Vegeta IV, is a 30-year-old Saiyan male, the son of King Vegeta that ruled planet Vegeta when it was destroyed. All three were off planet when Frieza destroyed the planet. Right, let's see what they want here, Goku states, flying over to them to see what is actually happening. He can see that they're in East City and he lands ahead of them. What do you guys want here, Goku asks. Why do we need to tell you, Kakarot? Are you not even going to greet us first? Nappa asks, with a wide smile. Raditz was too scared to inform them of how strong Goku was, but is sure that they'll see exactly what is to come. I asked you a question, Goku states. We'll be asking you questions from now on. Know your place, Kakarot, or I'll have to take your life, Vegeta shouts. This sudden command catches the attention of the humans that have just had to try and walk and drive around them. Some people have then stopped to record the interaction between these people wearing weird uniforms. What is even weirder is that they have waggling tails like monkeys. Vegeta looks around and sees all these people recording them, taking flash pictures of them and starts getting irritated. He lifts a hand to try and blast the summoned crowd, but Goku rushes over to swat away the blast into the sky. This lifts his power level up to around 30% of full capacity, lifting it to a whopping 180,000. The blast soars off into the sky and Goku then drops down his hand. You're not to hurt anyone here, Goku shouts. Vegeta's confident smile has washed away and replaced with a visage of shock. This low-class Saiyan, the younger brother of Raditz, is stronger than even Captain Ginyu. Vegeta swiftly begins wiping his scouter, and so does Nappa once he sees Vegeta doing so. After taking another look, the number is clear as day, 180,000. If you're just going to come to my planet to cause harm, I advise that you leave, Goku says. Vegeta is still stuck in place and doesn't really know what to do here. You know what, I'm tired of this, Vegeta suddenly shouts, flying up into the sky. Let's see how confident you are without air to breathe, Vegeta roars, crackling with purple ki. His Gallic gun is getting readied and is starting to scare the humans on the ground. The amount of energy that he's outputting starts making the ground quake, and the lightning that is released from his aura even breaks the glass in skyscrapers around him. Don't worry everyone, don't worry, Goku urges, looking around at them before flying up at top speed. His power level soars up to 600,000 and nobody even perceives his advance. Punching the prince in his chest, he destroys his armor and breaks several of his ribs, even making one puncture his right lung. He is shot up into the air like a cannon shot from a cannonball, then Nappa and Raditz rush right after him to basically leave. There's no use for them any longer, it's clear that they've met their match. Nappa saw a power level of 600,000 before his scouter just broke. It's clear that there is nothing they can do here. They do want the Dragon Balls, but for their very own safety they head off world to escape. This leaves Goku on his planet safe as ever and without a proper need to go anywhere else. However, Frieza has been hearing talk of these Dragon Balls and wants to get hands on them himself. His first destination is Namek, just like in canon where he wants their Dragon Balls to wish for his immortality. After this, during this peaceful time, Goku is just having a conversation with Shenron to see how much knowledge he has. Well, because I'm an alien, surely that means that Kami is as well. It does. He is a Namekian from planet Namek. They also have their own Dragon Balls there with its very own owner, Shenron replies. Goku continues to hear more about the Namekians and realizes that the only Dragon Balls left are with him and on this mysterious planet Namek. Wait, where are the other Saiyans going to go for the Dragon Balls now? Goku asks. They are incident on planet Namek. Goku thinks of the horrors that could take place there, the lives that could be lost, and jumps up from his relaxed position in a grassland. Were they ordered to go there? Goku asks. No, Emperor Frieza has already arrived on the planet on his own accord. Vegeta and his squadron are now acting as rogue soldiers, Shenron elaborates further. Now Goku knows that he can't just stay here on this planet. If innocents are going to be encountered by this supposed empire, he knows nothing good can come of it. Also, when he senses the ki of his friends, he knows that they won't be strong enough to keep themselves safe against such warriors. Therefore, he decides to leave on his own. He then tells them what he intends to do and that Shenron has given him some special knowledge that the Saiyans are off to Namek. He then says that he's going to be saving a lot of people by going there. I believe since humans don't really care about people that aren't their own species, they aren't very bothered about this. They're aware of Goku's supposed omnibenevolence and willingness to save somebody no matter who they are, but people like Krillin and Tien aren't of pure heart as we know. Take me to Namek, Goku says to Shenron. He can feel slight fatigue after gaining so much information and favours from the dragon, but appears on the planet almost immediately after making his wish. As he feels the slight vibration of the Dragon Balls fade, he starts taking in the beautiful verdant hills that surround him. There is also the rushing flow of the green seas around him, and it seems like he's arrived in some form of archipelago. However, the extremely large signatures that surround him he uses for direction in terms of choosing where to go next. The power that he can sense more clearly though is Frieza's. It's a large but cold and dark power. He doesn't want to run into problems here because he assumes that other fighters can suppress their power like he can. Who knows how strong Frieza really is if he's that strong already? He arrives at the village where he sees Dodoria and Zarbon attacking this village. This leaves him in quite the predicament. He knows what he's come here for, but if he upsets Frieza and ends up in an intense battle, things could go left very quickly. Therefore he zooms down there, lifting his suppressions totally. This has to be quick. Dodoria lifts a hand to slay one of the innocent Namekians, but Goku grabs it and throws it to the side. Landing a quick palm slam to his body, he throws him back, then Zarbon rushes over to try and shut him down. Storming forward with his fists tight and vibrating, Goku shoots his eyes at him and they give off not even a slight glint. However, Zarbon's armor breaks apart and a cloud of smoke is released, the invisible laser vision. It seems like Zarbon is doing okay at first, but he then coughs out blood and stumbles down to a knee. Revive those that these people killed, Goku says. Shenron makes the wish known, and the dead Namekian warriors just rise from the ground as if nothing even happened. As he does this though, Goku feels a singeing pain in his chest. He's used up too much energy. He can't just wish for whatever he wants here, he needs to make sure that he's witty with his wishes. Zarbon manages to struggle up to his feet, but a strong ki blast of wind from Goku shoots him into a building and renders him unconscious. Frieza isn't the type to jump in the fight and is quite frankly just lazy. He wants to put the Saiyan in his place, but it's not his thing to raise a finger for things like this. Frieza flies off and Goku continues watching his receding back, panting. Things aren't going to get any easier from now on, but what he needs to do is make a plan to save this planet, but in the face of somebody so strong, he's struggling to find options. Frieza returns to his ship and the Ginyu Force are on their way. Nappa, Vegeta and Raditz are currently here, and with Vegeta having been healed, he's ready to lead his squad. Here, Vegeta is at a village and has Nappa and Raditz there as his wingmen. He needs the Dragon Balls and the Namekians can already feel the evil exuding from him. They aren't going to hand him a single thing at all. Vegeta isn't fond of their resistance and goes in to slay the first. It's an innocent youngling that goes flying through a building. Now they look more terrified and are about to give in, however hope itself arrives. Goku lands in front of the three Saiyans and his intense landing even makes the Namekians fall back as well. Kakarot, Vegeta whispers to himself, with shock and surprise. Is this what you guys keep doing? Killing innocents? I can't let you carry on doing this, Goku shouts. Move out the way, Kakarot, before I make you move, Vegeta roars. Goku just lifts his hand and the killed Namekian kid rises up from the dead. Goku then starts coughing repeatedly. Looking at his hand, there are droplets of blood there. Things aren't looking great for him. Vegeta knows that he can't fight Goku directly. What happened on Earth nearly killed him and he can barely remember it happening. One moment he was ready to blast the planet to smithereens, and in the next he could feel his ribs cave in and his vision fade. However, he takes out his rage in other ways. He goes straight for the Namekians beside him, but Goku grabs his hand and flips him over his shoulder to slam him into the ground. The slam is powerful and even makes a house crumble to the ground. Vegeta coughs out blood, then Goku stands on his chest to keep him in place. I'm ordering all three of you to stop this. I don't want to have to bring you down, but if you keep testing me, I must. I will not let you hurt innocent people, Goku says, before breaking out into another coughing fit. Even with his weakened body, Vegeta can do nothing to lift his foot from his chest. Also, once he starts coughing, he doesn't realize how hard he's pressing on him. His armor breaks and Vegeta coughs out even more blood as his bones slowly break. Goku falls back in reaction as that wasn't his intention, but this is enough to make the Saiyans retreat before anything worse can happen. The Namekians at this village thank Goku for his efforts, and with this they heal his body and then give him their Dragon Ball. After being healed, he's fully back up to 100%. If he wanted to use Shenron to do so, it wouldn't really work since it requires his energy to heal himself. He hasn't received any injuries, but the level of fatigue he possessed just deteriorated his body. Zarbon wakes up shortly after and goes off to find Vegeta on the loose. Vegeta makes sure to keep his comrades out of the fight, but this ends up leaving him heavily beat up when Zarbon resorts to his transformed state. Goku isn't really told about Guru here, but he heads toward the location of a Dragon Ball to see who is in possession of it. Once he arrives, he is welcomed warmly by those that are at Guru's place because he can sense that he is of pure heart. Once he explains why he's here, he makes them even happier. To help him with his efforts, Guru grants him a potential unlocking. His power level skyrockets, but this isn't all that happens. His eyes start glowing white and so do the Dragon Balls wedged in his chest. It looks weird at first, and those watching only just realise that he also has his own Dragon Ball somehow. Now at a massive 10 million, Goku is like a new person. His demeanour has changed completely. Now at a massive 10 million, Goku is like a new person. His demeanour has changed completely. He looks less bubbly than before and is just staring blankly at a wall in this throne room. Goku, are you okay? Nail asks him. Oh yeah, sorry, Goku says, looking down to his body. His gi has changed slightly and now resembles the GT gi that he had. There's been an even deeper merge between him and Shenron. They are still independent beings, but Goku's memories and Shenron's have been partially mixed. Goku now has some of the knowledge of the magical dragon. Since Shenron knows so much, just that some means that Goku has been provided with a lot of new information. The Ginyu Force. They're coming because Frieza informed them to head over here, and they could cause some serious harm to the Namekians here. From this new knowledge, he knows exactly where they are in the sky. He doesn't even need to rely on his ki sensing to find them. Stepping out of this place, he lands at the approximate landing area of these warriors and watches as they land in front of him. During this time, Vegeta has healed and with a new power level of 50,000 has taken down Zarbon. Now, he has found the Ginyu Force himself with Raditz and Nappa, who watch from afar. Just what is going to happen here? Goku stands ready and with a totally serious face. The Ginyu Force all act confidently until their scouters try to read his power. All of them break at pretty much the same time and they're struggling to understand how this is even possible. Without Captain Ginyu to act as security who is currently getting orders from Frieza, they definitely aren't that confident. Leave Namek. I know that your intentions aren't benevolent, but then again I also know that you won't listen to me and I'll have to use force, Goku says, almost in a rambly type way. It's clear that there are just so many thoughts going through his mind in this moment. It feels weird for him to know so much about a situation that he should be clueless about. As things happen, this new information just continues popping into the front of his mind. Leaping toward the crew, he crushes Golo's chest and armor with a single punch, before lifting both of his hands at once to neck tap Jason Berta at the same time. This leaves Raccoon, who he lands a signature elbow on to shoot him right off his feet. Now his mind is on Frieza. Goku thinks deeply and starts contemplating the information he has gained on Frieza. The Emperor of the Frieza Empire, a member of the Frost race, with hidden transformations that will make him a serious threat. He's sure that he could handle everything except for his final form. His power level has never been measured and it seems like that isn't in his memory either. He doesn't even know his own power level. Shenron, could I handle Frieza's final form? Goku asks. I'm afraid not in the state that you're in, Shenron replies. How could I? Is there any technique that I could use? Goku asks. Yes, actually, a technique of one of this universe's Kais, the Kaioken technique. It can be used to multiply the user's power by many times at once, Shenron explains. However, it does cause great strain on the body and can only be used for short periods of time. Goku grits his teeth upon realising that he'll just be handed power if he goes for that technique. It's not even something that he worked for, however he has to use that power or else a lot of innocent people are going to die here. He's gotten stronger so he can revive more people, but he doesn't want to have to revive those that have been killed. Even if they return to life, those people shouldn't have to go through such experiences. Even with his improvement, his wishes are still finite and bound by his stamina. It's better he ends this now. Okay, I want proficiency with that technique, Goku says, struggling to force the words out. His Dragon Ball shine and the wish is granted. It's over for Frieza. Flying across Namek at extremely high speed, he arrives in front of Ginyu, who looks startled by his sudden arrival. Not only that, he realizes that he didn't even see him fly over here. He did see a weird light all the way at the horizon an instant before he arrived, and that's when he thinks, he can't be that fast, can he? All of these thoughts rush through his mind and he just looks to his scouters to see the massive reading before it breaks. It crosses 5 million before it literally just can't read the power. His body starts involuntarily shaking and Goku pounces. Tapping him in the neck, he also passes out, then Goku dives down toward Frieza. Descending, he looks through the glass of his ship to stare him down, flying in front of the large window. "Oh, greetings, Saiyan. I like your new attire," Frieza says, before tapping the window to shatter it. He can see that his Ginyu force has been taken down, so he's going to have to step in to finish things himself. "You have worked your way through the best men of my army. I respect that power, but that is a heinous crime in my empire. You will have to pay with your life," Frieza explains. The 3 people from the side watching this happen are totally shocked. This can't be happening. The Saiyan of prophecy that would rise up to take down Frieza, the legendary Super Saiyan. It has to be Goku. Who else could it be? A being that seems to be nigh omniscient with a bottomless well of power. The Saiyan to rise up and take down Frieza for good. "There's no need trying to fight me with that form. Use your final form," Goku says. This knowledge that he certainly shouldn't have flusters Frieza. "Okay, I don't know how you've heard about that, but that wish of yours will be your greatest regret. Nobody's seen my true form for a reason," Frieza states. "I know," Goku blankly states. His ordinary form, these are merely states that he has to create to weaken himself so that his power can be properly managed. He knows it all. Frieza's body starts to crack to reveal his true pristine form. His tail waggles as he lands on the ground, relishing the power that he's released. "Alright then, Saiyan, here I come," Frieza shouts, leaping up with such power that he lifts his ship off the floor. Goku looks startled from his speed and takes a punch right onto his chest. He's lucky to have the punch land on the Dragon Balls instead of his actual chest, and this breaks one of Frieza's knuckles. Frieza doesn't have a healing factor, but his body is incredibly durable. Damage like this is nothing. Frieza just lifts his other hand, launching an energy wave straight at Goku. The shot comes out of nowhere and Goku is flustered once again. Covering his whole field of view, he can do nothing but lift his hands to block it. As the smoke blows off, he is revealed with bloody arms and scorched clothing, but all of this vanishes in a second at the grace of Shenron's power. Now it's time to end this. Kaioken times 30, Goku roars, using a 300 million power level now. This insane power is enough to send waves through the surrounding waters. Goku hasn't had this insane amount of power for long, and he isn't doing the best at controlling it. Even Frieza is stuck with these intense waves of air and ki that exude an actual physical pressure. With his eyes squinted, all he can see is a scarlet red light that roars violently and chaotically. Goku, now 30 times stronger. Goku dives down and grabs Frieza by the neck to slam him down. Frieza's body doesn't shut down just from physical damage and it won't do much right now. However, Goku has gained a lot of knowledge and knows what his empire has done. Emptying planets of life, committing genocide on a galactical level just for profit and influence. This makes him full of rage, for somebody to treat fellow life beings in such an evil manner. Frieza struggles up, keeping his torso raised by one of his forearms, then gets a knee straight to his face. As he is about to go flying, Goku grabs his tail to start swinging him overhead. As he slams him, he lifts him and turns to slam him into the ground again. He continues in this Hulk-like smashing style before Frieza doesn't seem to be moving any longer. Goku, now with more intense breathing and tight fists, sees that he could kill Frieza if he continues. "Give me handcuffs that are strong enough to keep him contained. If he tries to escape or harm anyone, make the handcuffs stop him through any means necessary," Goku explains. Since Frieza is so strong, Goku can feel some serious amount of energy getting sapped from him as energy-based handcuffs wrap around Frieza's arms. They pull them back and look like a thick glowing white golden cable has just been wrapped around his arms. With this, Goku picks him up, then looks back to Vegeta and his team. "You're all free now. That doesn't mean you just get to do what you want. I will stop you if you try to do so. I don't want to have to kill you, but I will do what I must to save innocent people," Goku explains. Nappa and Raditz just nod, still stunned by his honestly godlike figure. Vegeta just grunts because he knows that he can't do anything but comply. "Hold on, Kakarot," Raditz says, rushing forward to drop to a knee. "May we please come with you? There isn't really another place for us to go now that we have no leader to follow. We won't cause any trouble if that's what you want," Raditz says. Nappa also drops down, treating him as if he's royalty. Vegeta is the only person not to react in this way. He's a prince, these Saiyans should be bowing to him, not this low-class warrior. "That's fine by me. Shenron, take us to Earth," Goku states. Vegeta isn't against it, since he has nowhere to go as well, but he's sure that he won't be staying for long. Even if he despises Goku for his power, he should relish the fact that Frieza is gone with his empire. He really is free to do as he pleases, and as much as he hates to admit it, it's due to Goku. In a flash, they're all gone, and the Dragon Balls on Namek weren't even used once. Goku appears back on Earth and looks to see that the Saiyans don't even stay by his side for as much as a second. As long as they're not causing trouble, he isn't too worried. He was expecting that they'd do that anyway, so his face is totally still. Now he can return with a smile on his face knowing that Namek is in peace for now, along with most of the galaxy. He wishes that those in the past didn't have to be victim to such a mad tyrant though. Just by his left, a previously knocked out Frieza covered in his own blood has woken up. His smile vanishes once he realises the true demon that lays before him. He struggles to even look at him without feeling a sense of rage grow inside. Where am I? What are these chains that you've put me in? Release me at once, Frieza shouts, pulling as hard as he can to try and release himself. However, these thick cable-like handcuffs don't even budge an inch. As he pushes, he even cracks the ground from the force he outputs, but it still does nothing. I said release me at once, Frieza shouts, releasing a massive amount of power as he lets his ki loose. Just because his arms are behind his back doesn't mean that he's powerless. Since Goku's power level is only 10 million by this point, he is blown away by this power-up. Rolling numerous times, he comes to a stop and looks quite alarmed. Readying himself to use Kaioken, he suddenly stops once he sees what happens. Frieza's arrogant smile wipes off his face immediately, and the energy cable suddenly squeeze in on his arms. Blood spews out from his arms and he screams in agony. The scream is spine-chilling, even for Goku. Shaking, Frieza falls to complete silence and is left with still almost dead eyes. It's clear that he won't be resisting again. Don't do that to yourself again. I know your nature and have to keep you in these confinements if you don't change yourself, Goku explains. Fine, I'll change. Just please take these things off. I can't even feel my arms anymore. I won't lay a finger on anyone, anything. Just release me, Frieza pleads. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. As much as I would like to do that, I am aware of your manipulative tactics. Frieza's arms start glowing and shimmering, then their wounds vanish. That is all I can do for now. Try and resist again and the same shall happen, Goku explains. Alright then. Well, Goku, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in space? Frieza asks. Why? Don't be rash, Frieza, Goku says as he turns. Well, let me tell you about it. It's extremely cold, devoid of air, a void that you can't survive, Frieza shouts, aiming his hands down at the ground. Let's see how long you last, Frieza shouts, growing energy blasts in his hands. Goku's eyes widen and he makes his first step in. He assumed that the handcuffs would do something, but it seems like nothing is happening. Just in this moment they squeeze in yet again and seem to close in more than last time. The blasts shoot down to the ground and are petty explosions compared to what he was hoping for. His frighteningly loud screams come back and this time his mind isn't even strong enough to take it. Once the screams stop, he is out cold. Goku just passes Frieza onto Bulma, who supplies him with enough anesthetic to keep him locked away indefinitely. What Goku will do with Frieza is still to be decided. What Goku is now focusing on though is the new knowledge that he's been given. The androids that are currently being developed on Earth to wreak havoc on the planet. Dr. Gero trying to get revenge for him destroying the Red Ribbon Army years back. As he starts to think more deeply, he visualizes where his lab is. There's no time to waste, he heads there right away. As this happens, Whis hasn't taken his eyes off the Saiyan for hours on end. His abilities, the Dragon Balls of Universe 7, have been merged with his Saiyan body. A true monster in terms of power, bending reality itself to his will. Nothing good can come of this, Whis is sure of it. He looks back to Beerus still in a deep slumber. What comes next is deep contemplation. What should he really do next? It is wrong for him to leave his god of destruction unaccompanied like this. But his father has to hear of what is happening. This is a concern that cannot go unreported. I'm sure he'll understand the emergency, Whis says to himself, before giving one last look to Beerus. I'll be back swiftly, Whis says to himself, before blasting off into the sky at top speed. Whis soars across the universe and ends up breaking through the very space-time continuum that contains this space. Arriving outside the bounds of the universe, he appears before Zeno and the Grand Priest in a bow. It's against the code to appear here without your god of destruction. Has he been left unattended? The Grand Priest asks. Yes, but it's a dire emergency, Father. Are you aware of the Dragon Balls that are in the twin universes, Universe 6 and 7? Whis asks. Vaguely, Dragon Balls that when assembled together can summon a dragon capable of making certain wishes. This doesn't seem like an emergency, the Grand Priest replies. It certainly is, Father. A mortal of Universe 7 has recently merged with them. Now, instead of only being able to make a single wish for a year, he can continuously make almost any wishes he wants at the click of a finger, Whis explains. I thought that these things had a cooldown period. Surely if this mortal had this ability, they'd still have to wait for a certain amount of time before making another wish. No, it doesn't seem to work that way. It's tied to his stamina, so he cannot just wish for things endlessly, but a quick night's slumber seems to reset those energy levels, Whis replies. Now this makes the Grand Priest a little more concerned. Even Zeno listens in to see what more he has to say. Okay, I guess this is dire. Zeno, what should we do about this? Do we destroy them? The Grand Priest asks. Zeno doesn't immediately reply and just thinks to himself. He's heard the whole conversation and is aware of the graveness of the situation. A mortal with such power could soon transcend them. The whole hierarchy of the multiverse could crumble at the hands of this person. What is their nature? The Grand Priest asks, to break the silence. His nature? Yes, his nature, personality, morals, beliefs, the Grand Priest states. I mean, he is of pure heart. That's the only reason why I didn't feel the need to jump in and take him down directly. His mind is devoid of evil. All that he has used his powers to do is save others. He stopped the whole species from being slaughtered not too long ago, just out of the kindness of his own heart, Whis insists. If that is true, then I won't destroy him. There's no need to. If something bad happens, tell me about it immediately and I'll sort it out, Zeno says, with his signature childlike voice. Shortly after this, Whis is dismissed and told to keep a close eye on this mortal that he has reported. Goku arrives in front of Jiro's lab and uses a simple Ki blast to destroy the opening. Jiro, who is hard at work meticulously developing his android, screams upon seeing this. Not once has he even heard a noise from his entrance when working in this lab. He chose pretty much the middle of nowhere to conduct his research for a reason, but somehow he's been found already and possibly by the worst person that he could ask for. He's been sending out drones to watch over Goku from his arrival and he hasn't seen anything good. This Saiyan is extremely strong. Luckily for him, he's an android himself, and Android 19 that is stood motionlessly inside the lab almost comes to life upon seeing him. Before he can do anything though, Goku begins using Kaioken times 30 and then shoots a few precise laser beams through certain areas of the bar. He aims for the most integral components within the android system. He first went for the infinite energy supply, then moved on to some of the other core components to waste 19 in less than a second. I don't want to have to kill you, but you have to stop all this. Your plans have failed, Goku announces, looking around at the several androids kept stored up here. Jiro only has one option left. They may still be prototypes, but he needs to let them go. If he doesn't have anyone to protect himself, he could die here. Even if he is an android, 19 was taken out so quickly by him and he could meet a similar fate. Jiro rushes over to the supercomputer at the center of his lab, but Goku just grabs his hand before he can do anything. Don't try and resist, there's no point in continuing. As soon as he sees Jiro trying to attack him again, he taps him on his neck. The android doctor falls to his feet and his plans have been foiled. Creating those handcuffs yet again, Goku really can feel his fatigue piling on. Okay, last wish, Goku says to himself, wiping blood now dripping from his nose. However, he turns to see the androids 17 and 18. That's when even more information floods through his mind, being supplied by the thoughts from Shenron. They used to be humans until they were captured and turned into these beings by Jiro. He has to do something about it. Give their minds back to them and free them, Goku says, before he actually coughs out a lot of blood from the strain on his body. Beware of your limits, Goku. You are strong, but you are not a deity. Keep pushing yourself like this and you could die, Shenron explains. Just make the wish, Goku says, before coughing out even more blood and thrusting himself out the lab. Android 17 and 18 are returned to life, with their minds clear of the programming from Jiro. However, what they're left with is their android bodies. After making these wishes, Goku takes his well-deserved break and feels nice and rejuvenated after this time. As he rests, Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz are all training together on Earth. Vegeta feels disgusted with how weak he is in comparison to Goku and wants to reach his level. He believes the position of first place should be reserved for himself and for himself only. This carries on for a whole year when there is just peace and training on Earth. Vegeta hasn't done much here because he quite frankly knows that he can't. If he was to try and fight Goku now, he would most certainly lose. After seeing Frieza incapacitated in some pod at Bulma's workplace, he can see Goku's overarching influence everywhere. There's no way for him to step out of line or even beat him in a fight, at least not yet. Gohan wants to train to be like his father, but Goku takes things light. This is because he knows his nature. Even if he has been trained at a young age, it is not like him to love fighting strong foes. That same desire isn't really seen in Gohan, as we know. Since Goku already knows this, he doesn't go overboard with the training that he puts him through. After this, somebody arrives from the future Trunks. Upon arriving, he believes that there should be a group of Earthlings watching Goku take down the Mecha Frieza and his father King Cole, but he meets no such thing. All he sees around him is a calm wasteland that looks devoid of life. Upon arriving, Goku lands in front of him upon sensing his ki. Goku has been kept comfortable with his knowledge, but Shenron is not aware of future Trunks at all, neither is he. This makes him on edge. "Who are you?" he asks, with hostility. Trunks is a little taken aback by his reply, but gives a response. Did you just fight Frieza here?" Trunks asks. "Frieza? No, I've kept him restrained for the past year," Goku explains. "Restrained? Like he hasn't shown up yet?" Trunks inquires further. "No, he didn't. He's been here for the past year," Goku replies. "Anyways, I would like to ask you who you are," Goku says. Trunks then explains himself. There's no need to hide anything since there isn't anyone else here that could chime in on their conversation. He is a warrior from the future, here to warn them about the androids that are to appear in 3 years' time. They're free. I cleared their minds of any evil, so they shouldn't be a threat now. I did that a year back as well," Goku states. Trunks looks flustered and gasps in shock. What he's just said is too surprising to even believe. "What do you mean? How is that possible?" "I just know it's a long story. However, what I don't know is how you could even be here. I've never heard anything to do with time travel." Trunks explains to him about how his mother, future Bulma, managed to find a way to go back in time. This is astounding to Goku, but it makes sense. It took her not too long to find a way to keep Frieza incapacitated using regular chemicals. This isn't even too far-fetched for someone like her. What Goku offers though is a chance to head back with him. If he can find a way back, then Trunks brings him back to the present. He can free the world of the androids. Trunks agrees and takes him to the future. As soon as Goku arrives, one thing he notices is there are far less humans on Earth. Just from sensing the surrounding signatures, they seem to be concentrated around this area that Trunks has arrived in. Even the city they're in has been reduced to mostly rubble and ruins. What makes this even more challenging is that you can't sense the androids. Their infinite energy supplies can't be sensed. Just when Goku thought things couldn't get worse, they do. "I'm sorry to inform you, Kakarot, but I can't use any of my powers in this timeline. If I am not in the timeline where I was created, my powers are useless," Shenron explains. "Really? Why are you only saying this now?" Goku asks. "I don't really talk unless talked to. That's kind of how I've lived over these past decades," Shenron explains. That leaves him in quite the pickle. He doesn't know how strong these androids are. He only managed to stop them by using their weaknesses and his Kaioken. Those were Android 19 and Dr. Gero as well. These androids could be way stronger. Flying up, he scans the terrain, but he can then feel the life in a certain area slowly fading away. That's where he needs to go. Soaring over there, the androids rain down with energy blasts on innocent humans that start rushing around to try and save themselves. In the face of such powerful beings though, there's little they can do. Goku immediately goes to try and use Shenron to revive them, but that's when he realizes that he can't. Time is of the essence here. Each second can mean a life saved. Flying straight at the androids, he begins using Kaioken times 30. Punching 17, the strike is definitely strong enough to get his attention. It's stronger than any hit that's landed on him before and reminds him of future Gohan. However, as he turns, he's shocked by who he sees. Goku. 18 turns around as well, and future Trunks lands on the ground to direct these humans away from the scene. As he does so, he continues to shoot back glances up to Goku with hope. "Please, save us all," future Trunks whispers with sheer desperation. If Goku can't take them out here, he doesn't know what he could do. There'd be no more options left for him. "Goku, I thought you got sick and died," 17 asks, with a smirk on his face. "Or were you just too scared to show your face?" 17 shouts. "No, I'm not from this timeline, Lapis," Goku states. Now this name throws 17 right off. It fires off memories in his brain that have now been jumbled up and broken down. This name, he can tell that he's heard it before, but he can't tell exactly how. "Who is Lapis?" he then asks. "You, before Gero took you in and turned you into the monster that you've become," he explains. 17's eye twitches as he struggles to wrap his mind around this. Since no memories resurface, he takes this as a bluff and just rushes right in to fight Goku. He hastily begins using Kaioken times 30, but not after receiving a powerful blow to his face. Just as he is shot back, 18 dives down there to punch him right on his chest, rocketing him downward. 17 flies down himself as well, but Goku manages to block his first attack. He tries to then throw some of his own, but 17 is too fast. His fists hit nothing but air before he receives a powerful gut punch to his stomach. That isn't all, as 18 comes rushing in with a spinning kick to his jaw to send him flying. As Goku flies back, he can feel the strain on his body only growing. Using Kaioken times 30 in such quick succession hasn't done wonders for his body. He manages to catch 17 with a punch due to him rushing in blindly, but that doesn't stop him from getting hit as well. He can rely on calculation and battle wits to land punches of his own, but that doesn't shake the fact that he's physically inferior. Slamming into 17, he tries his best to push him back only to get completely overpowered, then kicked back by 18. The two opposing parties come to a stop and Goku's Kaioken fades. Steam flows off his body and his skin feels scorching hot. Not only that, but the fatigue in his body is hard to overlook. It's like he's been training for hours on end. As he continues to fight, Trunks can see that he isn't using Super Saiyan. He was a fool to think that someone from the past could help him. Hope and desperation blinded him. It was too good to be true. Nobody could handle the androids, not even Gohan. Even if Goku didn't get sick, he would have met the same fate as the rest of them. His mind continues to go wild, rambling on with these thoughts as he watches on. Things really aren't looking good for his whole timeline. Goku gets grabbed by 18, who lifts his arms back and lets 17 rain in with punch after punch, with some point blank energy blasts mixed in there too. Shenron, who is in his mind, can do nothing but watch as Goku continues to get beat down like this. Did you really think you had a chance, Goku? 17 asks, before headbutting him. His head drops down and his breath starts to weaken. However, he begins using Kaioken times 30 again and pulls to try and free himself. Even with this pull, 18 can use her raw strength to keep him in and pulls his arms back before he can escape. 17 then throws a handful more punches at his face, just taking the chance while he has it. Goku doesn't even keep using Kaioken. There's no point. He can't even make himself strong enough to free himself. Without Shenron to help, it looks like it just might be the end of the road for him. I thought that my programming was all useless, but now that you've come back, I can actually kill the Goku, 17 says, flying toward him before placing his hand on his chest. Goku is stuck here. Before he can get blasted by any sort of blast, he roars at the top of his lungs. 17 just thinks it's a random fit, but 18 then feels a bunch of ki flushing into her face. Goku's golden aura appears and his eyes brighten up to a sky blue. His hair raises and turns to gold, and Super Saiyan Goku is here. As he pulls as hard as he can, he manages to rip 18's arms straight from her body. A mix of blood and sparks go flying out from the wounds, then Goku crazily shoots forward to attack 17. He lands a clean shot to his stomach in the form of a straight punch. He then drives up with an uppercut to his chin that sends a mixture of spit and blood flying out into the air. Thinking about the evils these androids have committed and how close that he came to death, his upcoming assault is a fierce one. He lets absolutely nothing back, and 17 can't do a thing to resist. Goku whips out his legs for a double drop kick and shoots him through an entire tower before grabbing his neck. His breathing is intense and 17 looks on with eyes of mercy. However, he's caused too much pain, too much suffering. He can't trust these androids with their lives. Blasting him away, he then looks up to Android 18 that has just been watching as her blood continuously spurts out from her body. Goku then launches an energy wave right at her, taking her away too. After this, he looks to his new aura and new form. Good job, Goku. You've unlocked the legendary Super Saiyan form for yourself. Truly impressive, Shenron says. Thanks, Goku says, before powering down. As he does so, he looks to the remains of 17 and those of 18 that fall from the sky. The humans that they once were, they're gone. He has the memories of their own lives, their own families, information that Shenron has that was then shared with him. It only hurts him more to know that they can never go back to that. Shenron can't even wish for their lives back, since he is powerless in this timeline. I'm sorry for what happened to you both. Lapis, Lazuli, it wasn't your fault, Goku says, as a tear runs down his cheek. Shortly after, Trunks is elated at Goku defeating these androids and returns him back to the present as quickly as possible. As he returns, Goku still thinks about the lives that they could have had. His pure heart is great for people, but not for himself. It always feels like he's not doing enough. After receiving these Dragon Balls, he thought he could save everybody. However, some things are still beyond his power. Thank you for your help. You've done so much for me and my timeline, Future Trunks says. You're welcome, anytime, Goku says, putting away his own guilt to wave Trunks goodbye as he heads back to the future. Kakarot, Goku hears from behind him. A loud, domineering voice. It's clear who this is. Vegeta, he asks, turning behind to face him. As he does this, the wounds on his body fade through the use of Shenron's healing powers. Now that he's back in the present, his wishing abilities are back. I hope you've been training for this past year. If not, this battle will be very painful for you, Vegeta says. Alright then, Vegeta, let me see what you've been working on, Goku says, smiling as he makes his own stance. It feels great to be back. Raditz and Nappa arrive shortly after since they want to see what Vegeta can cook up here. They have been training with him, but they haven't really seen what Goku can do. Since Vegeta decided to stay with his friends and train with them, it's been much better for his mental, but not only that, he's gotten a lot more from his training than if he did so alone. Vegeta starts shouting and the vein pops up on his forehead. As he presses hard into the ground, his hair flows around and he begins using his Super Saiyan form. Turns out that I was the Super Saiyan all along, Goku, Vegeta shouts. However, Goku crouches down himself, then starts shouting. This wipes Vegeta's smile away in a flash. He continues shouting, searching for that form that he had recently acquired, then it comes to him, Super Saiyan in its full glory. When did you get the form? Vegeta asks. Earlier today. I'm actually quite surprised I pulled it off here, Goku states. Of course you got it after me, Vegeta states. Vegeta has not a smile of arrogance now, but a smile of respect. Here he can see Goku as an equal since they've achieved literally the same thing. Sweeping his leg back, the two begin their spar. Vegeta starts off with ferocity and Goku can't help but smile from how much he's grown. However, Vegeta's put off by this kindness in his style. "Why are you smiling? We're battling," Vegeta shouts, elbowing him right in his cheek. Goku takes this right on and doesn't seem fazed by it at all. "Oh, sorry about that," he says, before cocking his fist back. Striking Vegeta right on his chest, he shoots him away extremely quickly. He continues to soar through the sky and goes flipping around in it. However, he uses his flight to soften the impact with the ground and doesn't let it stop him. No, he powers through the pain and carries on. As they continue to battle, Goku can see that his will to win is strong and unfaltering. No matter what he hits him with, it's not enough to stop him. Vegeta, now intensely breathing with streams of blood down his face, is struggling to think of a way to make it through this one. Nappa and Raditz had done a good job of calming him, but his inferiority complex is starting to flare up again. His broken ego. Losing all hope, he just screams up to the sky before shooting off into flight. "Where has he gone?" Raditz asks, looking into the sky with confusion. Just grunting, Raditz leaps up to try and chase after him, then Nappa looks down to Goku, shrugs, and then flies up himself. "I hope he's doing okay," Goku thinks to himself. Maybe not for now. Vegeta takes a lot of pride in his power and being the very best. "I'm sure he'll come around though," Shenron comments. What comes now is a period of 10 whole years of peace. The androids don't show up 3 years in the future, and then there are 7 full years after. During this time, Goku goes on a long period of going across the galaxy as almost the supreme police force. He basically does what the Galactic Patrol should be doing, and as he does this, he ends up meeting Jacko early. He ends up informing him about what the Galactic Patrol are, and so he can work with them, detain these criminals, and send them to the Patrol for them to be justly dealt with. He's an amazing asset since he can basically wish for anything. He just ends up wishing for Shenron to confine and transport criminals to prison, but if the person is too strong, he just steps in. You can't wish for everything. During this time as well, Whis is watching over him very closely. Every day, he surveys him and makes sure that nothing terrible is happening. Vegeta also spends far too much time training, trying his best to catch up to Goku, but as time passes, it only becomes clear how far away he is. It might just be impossible to catch up to him. Then again, he begins realizing that Goku has been blessed with these special Dragon Balls. He isn't just an ordinary Saiyan. Vegeta says to himself that Goku's cheating and it makes perfect sense for him to be weaker. However, he's more than ready for the upcoming World Tournament. Even if there's a high chance that Goku defeats him, he's not going down without a fight. Before he can even get a chance to fight though, Gohan is assailed by Yamu and Spopovich. After his energy is sapped, there isn't much left for him. He passes out, but Goku lands in front of him, then heals him using Shenron. Looking up, he asks Shenron what is going on here. "What's this? Who are those two people?" Goku asks. "Yamu and Spopovich, fighters that are working for the magician Babidi," Shenron replies. "For what reason? Why have they taken my son's energy?" "They need energy to bring back a being that has been sealed away for millions of years, that is referred to as Majin Buu. Is this being evil?" Majin Buu was known for destroying galaxies with his power. King Cole even explicitly told his son Frieza to never challenge him due to his raw power. Looks like we have to take him down before he can activate it then. With this new knowledge, Goku is well on his way and chases down the warriors to arrive at what looks like the top of a spaceship coming out the ground. Dabura reveals himself, then uses his spit to shoot straight at Goku. Stopping the spit with his hand, Goku then sees his hand turning to stone. "Stop whatever that is," Goku orders, a little startled by the sudden effect of the saliva. Luckily, this is well within Shenron's power, and the stone disappears, making Dabura shocked. Then again, when he looks at him, he saw these orange orbs in his chest glowing out of nowhere. Just what are all those things about? Before he can have another thought, Goku speed blitzes him. Training for 10 years and using Shenron to immediately heal himself, Goku has entered a new league entirely. With Shenron to provide the best facilities for him that he could possibly ask for as well, it's not looking great for Dabura. His first elbow crushes his jaw and knocks him out cold. Goku then just hisses, gritting his teeth as he scratches the back of his head. The Kais that have arrived to see this can't believe what they are seeing. This Saiyan, the power that they can sense from him, it's almost like a physical pressure. That elbow sounded like an explosion. Just what sort of impact was that? Kibito asks, more than shocked. Vegeta just grunts, annoyed at this attention that Goku is receiving. Upon entering the ship, Babidi explains to him what's going to be happening with them fighting foes. Why is he doing this? Goku asks, looking around as he tries to locate the source of his voice. He's not anywhere near its telepathy. He wants to gather energy from all of you to activate Buu, Shenron explains. From what he's heard, it won't be good if he ends up getting activated. Is there any other way I can take him down? I don't want to play right into his hands, Goku asks. Everyone else is just stood there waiting for Goku to say something. He's usually the man that directs them and someone they can put their trust in. He's the sole reason why the entire galaxy has entered such a great time of peace. Don't play his games, wait for me, Goku says, before disappearing. Next, he appears in front of Babidi in this secret lair of his. Next, he blasts straight through his chest. Upon hearing of him from Shenron, he knew he wouldn't be someone that he could keep alive. Therefore, he keeps him dead, then locates Buu. It's this weird brown ball, but Goku then powers up into Super Saiyan 3. Do I need a lot of strength to destroy it? Goku asks. Yes, the healing factor of Buu is second to none. Attacks way stronger than anything it could output still don't kill or permanently damage it. I recommend using everything you have. Goku smiles. It's been a while since he's done this. Roaring, his muscles start to bulge and he starts drawing from the vast well of power that he hasn't had to use in too long. What is that? Is there an earthquake? Nappa asks, feeling this intense rumbling under his feet. However, they can then see a bright golden light at the horizon, just like a star. Then, coming from there, they can sense an insane amount of ki. Vegeta doesn't even reply and just looks on with eyes of fury. Is this how much stronger you really are, Kakarot? All he can do is laugh. Goku begins charging his Kamehameha wave and launches it at full throttle. This destroys the seal containing Buu and destroys whatever is inside it as well. Buu is gone before he could even rise and cause any trouble. The Kais aren't convinced, they've seen Buu's healing powers one too many times. However, he truly has been defeated, it's over. The Kais are on their way shortly after, and then Goku starts to think about how he can get stronger. He's been trying for a very long time, but Super Saiyan 3 feels like a plateau of sorts. His base is still getting stronger, so he is making progress, but it doesn't feel like enough. There's only one more person that he can ask. Shenron, is there any other way for me to get stronger? Is there a next step in Saiyan transformations or something? Sadly, not really. Super Saiyan 3 is the apex of ordinary Saiyan transformations. However, there is a higher level of ki attainable to any mortal. God Ki, Shenron explains. God Ki, what is that? How do I get it? Goku asks. God Ki is the natural ki for deities. It's a higher level, higher powered ki that can be attained by mortals through training and dedication. This will give an immediate boost to your power. For any ordinary mortal, the amount of training it would require would be near impossible. However, for you, there is a slightly quicker method. Shenron then explains the proceedings for a ritual. This is when 5 pure-hearted Super Saiyans have to channel their power through a Sixth that then receives such power. Now, Goku has Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, Goten and Gohan so he can do this. Once he asks them to complete this ritual, they agree to it, but they have to also do the same for Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta. They're not gonna be missing out on this fun. Goku is the first to try out the ritual, and they start sending their ki through him. Lifting into the air, he is enveloped in this blue cloud of ki, and as he descends, he is revealed in a slimmer state. God Ki. The level of power that Goku can feel coursing through him is immense. It's a surreal experience. As for the others that stand around him, they can't really sense anything. However, they assume that it's because he's using a whole different type of ki altogether that they've never been exposed to before. They want to get in on this action, so Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz also get granted God Ki. Goten and Gohan aren't really bothered to get their form themselves, but Goten seems more willing to get it in the future. 4 Super Saiyan gods stand beside each other, just checking out the form really. As he receives this power, Goku's Dragon Balls start glowing more brightly and his eyes go a bright white. A large amount of power is released and he struggles to contain it. Just like on Namek, a merge is happening again. What is going on? It's like he's going to explode or something, Raditz says, holding his hand ahead of his face to block the harsh gusts of wind that blow at him. I'm not sure. I'm sure that staying here won't be safe though. Back up, Nappa says, leaping up into flight. Goku starts shouting and this white light even comes out his mouth. His red aura flares up even more and the Dragon Balls glow so brightly that now they're a complete white. Once this light dies down, he is also in his base form. As time has passed, Shenron gained new information on the universe while Goku was left out of the loop. However, this second merge means that he has gained that new information. Not only that, he also knows more about things that he wasn't previously aware of. Are you okay, Goku? Raditz asks, as they land in front of him. I think so. Something like this happened on Namek. I should be fine. Shortly after, Goku starts thinking about a new character that has popped into his mind, Beerus. He has these memories of King Vegeta getting bullied by this odd character that seemed to stand far above everyone else. Then there is another memory of him standing before Frieza. If you want to destroy Planet Vegeta, that's fine by me. I'm giving you the green light, Beerus states. What? Is what I'm seeing real? Goku asks. Yes, the destruction of Planet Vegeta was originally Frieza's motive, but it seemed to be Beerus's as well, Shenron explains. This Beerus character seems quite scary to Goku, but it also excites him because he knows that he'll be a great person to fight. However, up until that point, all they can do is train with the power that they have now. It's only another 30 days before Goku uses Super Saiyan Blue, and a few months past that point he combines it with Kaioken. Due to the ki control that he has from the form, it's easy to stack on these Kaioken multipliers then heal from the training so that he can use higher multiples in the future. By the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, all the fighters can already use Super Saiyan Blue. This is when Beerus wakes up and dreamed of the same Super Saiyan God that he did in canon. Once he arrives on Earth, he swiftly confronts the 4 strongest Saiyans to find who the strongest is. Upon arriving, Vegeta looks on edge and takes a step back once he approaches. However, Goku sees this and doesn't move an inch. Don't fear him, we're much stronger now, you're not your father, Goku says. Be quiet, Kakarot, what makes you think I'm scared? Vegeta retorts, irritated by his patronizing comments. Goku doesn't really know what he was doing there, he knew he'd act in that way. Saiyans, I've travelled here in search of the Super Saiyan God. Which one of you claims that title? Beerus asks. All of us, Goku replies. All of you? More than one Super Saiyan God? Alright then, well which one of you is strongest? Beerus then asks. I am. I'm willing to fight if that's what you want, Goku says, making his battle stance. Fine then, show me what you're made of, Beerus says, standing forward with his hands still behind his back. Goku zooms off toward him, then leaps up to spin repeatedly. With this high turning speed, he shoots down a kick that Beerus just steps back to evade. However, Goku swivels around to shoot out his other leg in the form of a back kick, but Beerus again steps back to evade the hit. Ripping his foot from the ground, Goku begins using Super Saiyan and shoots back there with his newly amplified body. Firing off with punch after punch, no matter where he tries to land, Beerus can slip or block each attack. Even when he thinks he has found openings and vulnerabilities in his guard, his attacks are blocked, parried or evaded. Goku puts too much weight into his next punch, a left hook, and Beerus gracefully evades. He's mere inches from his 2 large ears, but he drops and then drives up to punch Goku in his gut. The punch looks light and lazy from Beerus, but the amount of power behind it is insane. Goku struggles to even get his breath back and stumbles back. All he can do is smile. He hasn't fought anyone this strong compared to him in a very long time. You don't seem to be the Super Saiyan God, this is not the form that I saw in my mind. I know, let me show you the form then, Goku says, before exhaling calmly. The Dragon Balls glow dimly, then his Super Saiyan God form is revealed. He opens his eyes to reveal his pale red irises and he then leaps forward to continue the fight. Beerus lifts his forearm and their forearms clash harshly. The impact breaks the ground and releases quite the shockwave, then Goku continues on with his aggressive style, using this much stronger body to do so. Throwing a repeated sequence of swinging kicks, Beerus can still evade most of them and block the rest. Just as he fires off a punch, Beerus slips past it and neck taps him. Once again, the hit looked light, but Goku can then feel the pain rush throughout his whole body. He feels slightly dizzy for a while, but he's doing okay after a few seconds. You're stronger than I expected, you're no pushover mortal, Beerus says, making his stance. Goku then shakes off the pain before taking things up a notch. Shouting, his hair lifts and his musculature returns to him. He transcends Super Saiyan God and begins using Super Saiyan Blue. Now 50 times stronger, things are about to change. Beerus just looks completely surprised. He never knew that there would be a form above Super Saiyan God. Beerus and Whis can sense God Ki, so they can tell that this actually is a form that's a step above Super Saiyan God, since they can still sense God Ki coming from him. Goku shoots a front kick at Beerus' block, and since he was holding back too much, he actually slides him back a few meters. Following this, he slips under several hits to then fire off with punch after punch into his abdomen. The attacks land flush and well, but that was merely luck. Beerus just grabs his hair, then throws him into the air. The sluggish throw still launches him tens of meters into the air, then he jumps up to kick him even further up. Goku can do nothing to even perceive these hits since he is moving so quickly. The world around him becomes a fast moving blur as he is sent flipping and flying away. Eventually coming to a stop, he can tell that holding back won't be doing much for him. Even his full power might not be enough to take down this beast of a fighter. Has there really been people this strong in the world this whole time? He just laughs upon thinking that he was the strongest in the universe. After seeing this, it's clear that isn't true. Maybe that person standing behind just watching is stronger than Beerus. Since he knows so much, finding a gem of a fighter here for the first time feels even better. Being surprised feels so much better when he knows so much. Goku combines this form with Kaioken times 20, now significantly stronger. However, since it's Kaioken, he doesn't have time to waste. Launching a barrage of ki blasts down to Beerus, he can still knock them away with relatively little effort. Goku hurls one down from overhead, and as soon as Beerus knocks it away, the Saiyan is directly behind it. He catches him with the first punch and then the second, before leaping away as fast as he can to dodge anything that Beerus could throw back at him. Just attacking him from the front isn't smart either, and so he enters close range but from a different angle. Arriving behind Beerus, he fires in a kick, but he predicts him and grabs the leg before it can hit him. Pulling as hard as he can, he then swings him overhead to slam him down. The slam hurts Goku, then Beerus shoots down a punch to keep him down. Goku screams in pain and it looks like the fight is done. The Saiyans watching on had hope and cheered him on to take the win, but Beerus was simply too strong. You fought well, you're already stronger than a lot of the gods of destruction in other universes, Beerus says. Goku tries to roll over, but it's not easy at all. Just stay down, Saiyan, you're spent. There's no use in continuing to battle, Beerus states. He coughs out blood from just this small movement, then just falls back down to stare at the sky. Shenron, you know what to do. On it, he replies. Goku's wounds vanish, and he's also been blessed with a very large Zenkai. In the face of someone so strong, the Zenkai is abnormally large so he can catch up to their power. He begins shouting at the top of his lungs and destroys the ground he rests on with his wild aura. Kaioken times 40, Goku roars, smiling from this new power that he's received. Beerus watches on with a still face. How has this fighter grown that much stronger in a second? He looked exhausted a second ago, but now things have changed. Whis has been watching on closely the entire time. He's aware of Goku's powers, but also of his morals. He knows that Goku just won't wish to create a weapon that can kill gods or something, so thinks that this fight is safe for now. However, it's only safe if Goku remains significantly weaker than Beerus. Once again, Goku tries to fight with this new power and finds that he is still inferior. No matter how much he tries to fight, he still can't bridge the gap. Instead of using all his stamina then choosing to heal when he's significantly injured, he periodically calls for Shenron to heal him. This constantly keeps him growing stronger during the battle, and if he's hurt enough, he receives Zenkai boosts to provide that growth. It's just choosing when he's received enough injuries that's the tricky part. If he heals himself too quickly, he will be rejuvenated, but he won't receive a Zenkai boost. Still, it isn't enough. Even with this, the amount of power that Beerus is putting in here is quite surprising. Just in these minutes of battle, Goku's body has just been flooding him with power to try and take down the perceived threat. However, as he continues to try and heal his power, he can feel the fatigue from Shenron's wishes. Can I wish for more stamina or something? Goku asks. No, that's like wishing for more wishes. It leads to a paradox. That's beyond my power, Shenron replies. Well, that's annoying. I can't keep this up for much longer, Goku realizes. The fact that you've carried on this long against such a strong fighter is an achievement. To be honest, I don't understand why you carry on, Shenron replies. Stop. Why would I? I haven't had this much fun fighting in years, Goku says, before bringing himself to the fight at hand. You're growing stronger, but it won't be enough. I don't know how you keep healing yourself, but I can see the fatigue on your face, Beerus states. Goku's body is now dripping with not just his own blood but sweat. His breathing has grown intense and he feels a stinging, burning pain in his chest whenever he draws on the Dragon Balls to heal. He's digging deep into his stamina reserves to keep going right now. However, he can't stop, it just doesn't feel right to. Continuing again, he starts searching for even more power. Beerus and the Saiyans believe this to be futile and urge him to stop. He could die if he carries on this way. Even with their suggestions and urges, nothing can stop him. His hair then darkens and now looks more like an evening sky blue. Super Saiyan Blue evolution. Not even stopping there, he swiftly packs on Kaioken times 20 onto this form, receiving a 400 times multiplier straight onto Super Saiyan Blue. Along with that, he gets a Zenkai as he heals his body. The amount of power that he is using here is quite frankly making him unstable. To become 800 times stronger in a few seconds isn't really something that his body is adapted to. He can feel himself just breaking down his muscle and tissue trying to control his immense volume of ki. Seconds after achieving this form, he just can't maintain it. Trying to use such a high multiplier on a new form and a spent body just doesn't work. Dropping to his knees, he passes out shortly after. All Beerus can do is respect what he's done. He didn't even have to motivate the Saiyan to try and battle by threatening his planet. He fought well from the beginning, gave him the fight that he was hoping for. It's not like Beerus is that exhausted, but he wonders what would have happened if he went up against that version of Goku. Would he have still won? He was putting a decent amount of effort before Goku then achieved that new state of his. From what he sensed, he had grown substantially. That makes him quite shocked. Did this mortal just surpass him? No, there's no way. This is the first day of him even looking upon a god. It would be insane for him to grow beyond one. But then again, what of the other gods of destruction? He already has grown past most of them. Champa, Belmont, Kitela, those guys would stand no chance against him. Shortly after this, Goku awakes and can't really use the Dragon Balls to improve his condition. He just takes a few days off to rest and get back up to speed. With more knowledge on the universe, there are a few things that Goku has to do. First, he makes a quick trip to the Galactic Patrol. From his vast knowledge, he knows about Moro and he is slowly trying to escape from his confinements. Using Shenron, he's able to vastly improve the prison that is used to contain him. Frieza is still under his control, so there's nothing that Sorbet can do at the moment to fully revive his army. He is aware that Sorbet is trying to do so and conducting petty incursions and missions, but the Galactic Patrol are doing a great job keeping him at bay. Anybody that is killed he can just revive, or he can fully step in if that's what they need. After so many years kept locked up, Frieza has kind of lost the will to fight against people. He hasn't even been incapacitated by Bulma recently, he kind of just stays to himself. Now that he is awake, Vegeta and Goku see him quite often and he seems a lot more pleasant. Taking these years to reflect over things, it's changed him. Now that he knows that Goku can just defeat him no matter what he does, there's no point in snapping at anyone. There's no point in thinking of mischievous plots, they will all be foiled by Goku. Champa and Beerus meet up and want to have a tournament between their universes. However, Beerus is kind. He says that he'll choose only one fighter to face him and that he can choose as many as he likes to face him at once. Champa takes this as a joke. Beerus is far too arrogant. Their universes are supposed to be twin universes. It's not like there should be anyone that could do that from Universe 7. Not a mortal at least. However, Beerus calls upon Goku to show him exactly why he's made such an insane offer. Many spectators are here, including the Saiyans and some other Universe 6 members. On a larger circular grid ring, Cabba, Hit, Butamo, Ultimagetta and Frost. They're stood together facing Goku. Did they really think they could get one of them to beat all of us? Beerus is way in over his head. The fight begins and Goku draws back his right leg. The battle's on. Shenron's knowledge is bound to his own universe and timeline, so he doesn't know anything about these fighters at all. All he can use is his great wisdom to predict what these fighters will be like. Frost and Botamo charge forward first, but Goku just grabs Frost to throw him overhead. As Botamo charges forward as well, he punches his rotund belly to rocket him back to the other opponents. This slam knocks many of them off their feet, but Hit doesn't fall. With Botamo on the ground, Goku speeds forward and kicks him off the ring, then Cabba attacks him from the side. Ultimagetta does the same, but he leaps up to make them slam into each other. As he is in the air about to descend, he can't take his eyes off Hit. The way that he's acting, it feels like he could be strong. These others will just get in the way. Cabba turns to charge after him, but Goku slips past his first punch to knock him out with a neck tap. Then Ultimagetta slams down his heavy metal forearms, but they don't do much. He blocks the hit and takes it with ease. However, he can tell that he is the heaviest, strongest fighter that he's come against so far. Even so, he jumps up to fire off a double drop kick that throws him right off the ring. The only fighter left is Hit. Goku rushes in with confidence. Nobody in this universe has tested him, so why should he be scared? However, as his fist is inches from making a connection to Hit's face, he vanishes. In the very next moment, he can feel this heavy striking impact in his side. He doesn't get launched away per se, but it's a good insight. These guys really aren't pushovers whatsoever. If he wants to take them down, he must be more careful with what he does. Hit comes speeding in yet again, whizzing out of his field of view to strike him from some weird angle. Goku is getting quite fed up with that, therefore he begins using Super Saiyan God, using far more power than before. Just this use of God Ki makes his perception far greater. Hit uses his time skip and Goku can see that it isn't teleportation. He can see a blurry image of him leaping up to try and strike him from above, and as he steps back the attack comes. Hit comes down with a kick, but it does nothing. Without his time skip as well, he has no power against him. He moves like a literal slug. As Hit needs to wait before he can use the time skip again, he tries to continue with just his plain strength. Dashing forward with quick light feet, one of his habits from being a covert assassin, Goku can track him with ease and catches the first that comes his way. Another comes, but he moves by it to strike him straight in the chest. Goku sends him flying across the arena and Hit can't do anything to keep himself from slipping off. The force on him is just way too great. He flies right off and that's pretty much it for him. The whole tournament has ended and Goku still used a tiny fraction of his power to destroy the whole universe. Just what monster has Beerus been hiding in his back garden? That's not fair, how is he so strong? Mortals never get that strong, even if they have God Ki, Champa shouts. Well, he's merged with a set of Dragon Balls from the universe and can use it to perform many wishes. He's been taking advantage of that power to accelerate his training, and his Saiyan genetics augment his powers every time he is taken down and healed, Phylos explains. Goku and his Saiyan friends return to their own universe and just kickstart their own training again. However, Zamasu has something in mind. He takes Goku's body, taking on the moniker of Goku Black. With this immensely powerful body, he reigns over Earth and the timeline as its sole ultimate deity. Since he is in a different timeline, the effects of the Dragon Balls have disappeared, but this doesn't affect his raw power. Goku has spent time training and abusing his Zenkai to reach unparalleled levels of power. Just that alone makes him destroy every threat in his way. Future Trunks manages to escape by a thread, only through the use of Goku Black's underestimation of him and his arrogance. Arriving in the present timeline, the Saiyans are alerted to his presence and arrive there. Upon arriving, they see that he looks totally exhausted and very injured. They can see the fatigue and weariness in his frame, but his breathing is still shallow and light. As he raises in Bulma's gazebo, all he can see is the silhouette of light around Goku's head. That alone sends him off. Leaping up like a reanimated corpse, he abruptly shoots off toward him with a punch. He even transforms into Super Saiyan, not even letting a thought get in. Those around look startled by his spontaneity, but the Saiyans do not fear. Goku most certainly doesn't. Trunks has fought Goku Black and knows not to hit the Dragon Balls in his chest, therefore he aims slightly lower but still can't seem to budge him. It's only when he lands the hit where he gets a closer look at the orange gi that he's stricken. Goku, sorry, I'm so sorry, Trunks says, reverting to his base before stumbling right back down to the ground. Whatever's happened to him, they can tell it's nothing good. Why did he try and hit me then? Did he not see me? Goku asks in his mind. I don't know. I can't seem to figure out anything about his timeline or anything about him that I haven't explicitly perceived. Sorry, but you're on your own with this one, Shenron replies. Goku helps him up, then Trunks goes on to explain why he's come here and why he needs their help desperately. Somebody has Goku's body and has destroyed all the gods in that timeline so that he has practically no competitors. A malevolent being that wants to see the destruction of all mortals. Now Goku needs to find a way to defeat this person, but things won't be easy. They want to head there eagerly, confident that Goku could defeat him and even Goku is too. However, the one to stop them from continuing is Shenron. Wait, a dark voice calls out from Goku's mouth. His whole demeanor has changed and he now stands with a totally still frame. Shenron doesn't really know how to work a human body, so when he tries to address people through Goku, he adopts quite the robotic inanimate stance. The connection between me and my abilities is severed when I cross over into a timeline that I wasn't drawn from. If Goku Black took Goku's body from this timeline, that must be the same for him. Entering on the same playing field could be dangerous, as there's no lifeline to work with, Shenron explains. Alright then Dragon, what do you suppose we do instead? Vegeta says with a contemptuous tone. Dragon, Trunks asks, looking to him with bewilderment from this whole situation, then back to Goku repeatedly. Why is Goku just changed into a different person? There are many ways that you can make the elimination of Goku Black foolproof. There are many tools that I can provide you with, Shenron states. We won't need any of your tools. How are we supposed to know that Goku Black is even as strong as Goku? The occupant of his body likely isn't even a fighter, Vegeta replies. Why would they want to get something like a poison to take him down? That defeats the whole purpose of the battle. Even with their desire to fight, Trunks looks nearly dead. They can easily have a fight another time. If they end up going to the universe and find out that Goku Black really is very difficult to defeat, they'll be in quite the pickle. It sounds like his entire timeline is in ruins from what Goku Black has done, so it should be better to just get him out the way as quickly and efficiently as possible. Let's get this over and done with then, Vegeta states. Therefore, before they leave, Goku wishes for Shenron to create a potent poison designed specifically to kill him. It's on the blade of a medieval style dagger and they head right there to get things going. Goku has to be quite careful with it because this poison can kill him as well. However, Shenron created it with a case, so as long as it's sheathed, he should be fine. They arrive in the future and Goku Black doesn't take long to make an appearance. Hello there Trunks, so you've assembled a crew to try and defeat me, how wonderful, he states with his arms regally raised. I have. Today is not going to be a good day for you, Trunks shouts out. Okay then, let me see how strong these are, Goku Black says. Signaling for them to come at him, Goku envelops in God Ki and rushes up to arrive in front of him. Goku Black doesn't look as confident after seeing this form. It isn't something that he's seen before and Goku is the body that he took from. However, he knows that Goku's powers using Shenron are useless here. He can no longer use Shenron to wish for anything and Goku should be in the same position. He crosses his arms over his puffed up chest, sure that he can take anything that comes his way. Goku zooms forward with such speed that Goku Black doesn't even see him coming. Thrusting forward the dagger, it breaks through one of the Dragon Balls in his chest and also cuts further and into his heart. As this happens, the dark green poison begins to steam out from the wound and protrude out from the wound in the form of pulsating destructive veins. Goku Black screams in pain and begins coughing out green bubbling blood. In seconds, he descends and lands atop a scorched building, slowly coughing and gargling on his own blood. It isn't long before it's all over. Vegeta is already walking to the ship, sure that the job is done. However, before they head there, they see Zamasu up in the sky. Who is that guy? Raditz asks. Have no clue, Vegeta says as he looks up. The green fighter descends and lands in front of them, shocked by the corpse of Goku Black that he sees in the corner of his eye as he does so. These guys are going to be quite strong, but that means nothing with his immortality. Who is he? Goku asks. No idea, Shenron replies. "Greetings mortals," Zamasu says. "It's him. Another version of him took over Goku Black's body," Shenron sharply replies. "How do you know that now but not before?" Goku says, startled by this near instant analysis. "Trust me, the way he said what he just said. They're the same person, he took over your body, he just must be from some other point in time somehow," Shenron elaborates. Shenron's vast knowledge gives him immense levels of wisdom. Using that near boundless collection of information, his deductions can be frighteningly accurate. Zamasu lifts a metal rod to launch it to the group, but Goku taps it aside, then launches a ki blast, still in his god form. The blast lands right onto him and destroys the street that he's in. As the smoke clears, Zamasu is left leaning against some random building with blood continuously running out various wounds. The injuries would make him long gone if he was an ordinary mortal, however he is no such thing. Just a minute later, he seems to rise from the dead out of nowhere. His wounds vanish and he looks just fine. What is going on? An immortal. From his uniform, he seems to be an apprentice Kai, but he must be from a different universe because I don't know who that is. Continuously beating him down will do nothing. He'll always come back, Shenron reveals. "Everyone wait," Goku then says, gaining the attention of his friends that are stood behind him. "He's immortal. There isn't going to be much that we can do right now," Goku explains. Therefore, he switches the motive and goes for something else. Revealing the button to call upon Zeno, he resorts to him to erase Zamasu for good. His erasure powers are more than enough to destroy even an immortal, and the job is done. Zamasu is gone and Trunks' timeline has been saved from the threat. Once they return to the present timeline, Goku starts getting quite bored of training. Whis is too strong to give him a good fight since he can just evade everything that he throws at him. His Ultra Instinct is just too good. He needs something else to motivate him. I mean, working with the Galactic Patrol is nice from time to time and keeping the galaxy peaceful is a plus, but he needs more. Talking with Zeno quite a lot now, he starts to think about a possible tournament between the universes. To be honest, even his Saiyan friends are also getting bored of sparring just each other. Therefore, when they hear him talking about it, they actually get quite excited to see which fighters they could come up against from the other universes. By this point, Vegeta and Nappa are already starting to divert away from the path of Ultra Instinct. They can see that it's not really their nature to fight in that way, so they start looking to Beerus to try and get some training from him. Vegeta tried for a long time to catch up to Goku, but after a while he realized that this is not a path that he can take. Goku uses Shenron to give him different points of view on the entire technique of Ultra Instinct, so he can see it in different lights quite easily. This makes it so Shenron explains it in the best way specifically for him. Getting this sufficient knowledge from him allows him to achieve Ultra Instinct much earlier. By the time of this arc, the Tournament of Power, he's already achieved Ultra Instinct Omen and mastered Ultra Instinct. This will make him quite the threat for the upcoming tournament since he's way past Beerus' power. As Vegeta and the crew are training, Vegeta wants something from Goku. "Kakarot, if you can benefit from that dragon of yours, I believe we should be able to do the same," Vegeta says. The three Saiyans have approached him almost randomly and Goku really does wonder what they're up to. "Shenron, what do you think they want?" Goku asks. To be honest, Goku could easily just ask them why they're here. He will likely hear something in 10 seconds or so, but he lacks knowing about a situation before it happens. Shenron can almost always make that happen for him, so it just gives him that extra sense of security. Now it's kind of just become a habit, even when he knows somebody will answer his question if you ask them. They're most likely here for some unique training device. Like you, these Saiyans don't really like to artificially boost their strength. They'll ask for something similar to the gravity chamber I created decades back, Shenron explains. "We demand special clones for us to train with. Give us clone warriors. We don't need them to be sentient and make them slightly stronger than us while making them focus on our weaknesses," Vegeta explains. "Is that all?" Goku then asks. "Also," Vegeta says, lifting a finger, "give us our own Senzu tree. If you can recover instantly, we wish to have that power too," Vegeta furthers. Goku doesn't even reply and just lifts his hand to realize their wishes. A large tree grows from the ground on Beerus' planet, bearing way more Senzu beans than the one that Korin has. Next, 3 grayed out beings appear. They look like the fighter they're intended for, but have different body types. There is the clone with Vegeta's face and hair that looks slightly slimmer and much taller than him. Raditz is facing a clone quite similar to him, although it has greater muscle mass. Alongside this, Nappa is facing a slimmer fighter that is still around his height. With this, they immediately get to work with their training. Nappa's clone gives him immediate trouble due to the speed that he has. It makes him fight a different way, and the clone has longer arms than him. It keeps him from just rushing in and relying on the longer arms that he usually has. Along with this, Raditz is learning to face physically superior fighters. Whenever he comes up against Vegeta, the more genetically blessed of the two, he struggles to compete with him. He isn't the genetic anomaly that his brother Goku is. However, this clone gets him to fight more cleanly and smoothly. The senzu beans also mean that their training starts reaching a new level altogether. After this brief period, shortly before this tournament is to begin, Beerus is up against these three Saiyans. Vegeta stands at the center, with Raditz and Nappa stood beside him. Beerus stands with his hands behind his back. Alright then Saiyans, you got me out of my bed for this, so it better be worth it. I won't be holding anything back, Beerus says. He yawns before Vegeta gives a reply. Trust me, you won't want to, Vegeta then states. Beerus chuckles lightly and then the fight is on. All of them begin using their top tier states from the beginning, Ultra Ego. Raditz's hair becomes a flush purple along with Vegeta's, and Nappa's beard grows slightly before it dons that same purple hue. Three of them whiz ahead, all with violet auras. Vegeta is clearly the fastest, with Nappa and Raditz tagging along shortly after. However, as they advance, Raditz and Nappa seem to shoot past Vegeta that stops ahead of Beerus. As he stops, he doesn't have even the briefest moment to stop and calculate. He just throws in a punch before driving up an uppercut. The power and speed behind these shots take Beerus by surprise, and him having woken up less than 20 minutes before this fight doesn't make things any better. Stumbling back, he shakes his head to try and get rid of the weird tingling sensation he gets, but Nappa then rushes in. With his attention averted, Nappa can then use all his raw power to deliver the most powerful strike possible. Clasping his hands together, he swings them in as if he's holding a hammer of sorts and hits Beerus right in his head. This knocks him right off course, and before he can even get his footing again, he is hit by the double Sunday straight from Raditz. This knocks him back and sends him rolling away. Things really aren't looking great for him. As the smoke clears though, they can see the dark purple aura of the god, along with his glowing purple eyes, something they've never seen before. Beerus is trying now. Beerus wasn't holding back that much when facing Goku that first time, but it wasn't his best. Now they might just see why Beerus claims the title as the strongest god of destruction. The god goes flying right in to take down these warriors. Vegeta gets flustered and hit by a battering ram of a shot to his gut. His body falls right over, and Raditz also can't put up much of a fight. Beerus comes rushing in, but Raditz manages to slip past the first two strikes of his. After facing his clone for so long, he can find ways to work around superior speed and strength. Even so, he does have limits. Raditz catches the first punch to his face, then gets destroyed by the next. Beerus can easily break through his guard, finding the weaknesses in it and the areas that he struggles to defend. The punches leave the areas they strike feeling like fire. However, the one that isn't scared of the power is Nappa. He just takes it head on. What comes with his large frame and monstrous strength is also great durability. A true brazen warrior that can take vast amounts of wear and tear before he falls. Nappa keeps his arms tight and tucked, taking the swinging kicks and punches coming from Beerus. To say that it's easy would be false, but if anybody could stand here and take strikes like that, it's Nappa. After throwing hits for so long like this, it's almost woken up Beerus. He doesn't seem as clumsy and tired as before, no. Now he's showing off the eons of training that he has under his belt. No matter how tight the guard, Beerus will always find a way to break through it and hurt the most vulnerable parts that he can. As Nappa holds his arms up and blocks the first wave of attacks, Beerus manages to slip past his hands and land a left hook straight to his ear. Right after this, Nappa lifts his arm to try and cover that area. Then that's when Beerus sees an opening straight down to his torso. Shooting forward his fists, he viciously lands punch after punch onto areas like his torso, neck and face. It takes a short moment before Nappa actually readjusts himself, because he is just so flustered by the abrupt, damaging combination. Stepping back slightly, Raditz and Vegeta rush in from beside him, taking the fight on, and they still get manhandled. Even after their training, it hasn't been enough. Beerus still stands above them. It feels quite disheartening for them to be struggling against someone that Goku could easily beat. Goku just watches on with a straight face and hopes that his friends can take the win here. For things like this, Shenron always seems to predict what will happen accurately beforehand, and Goku never goes to him for knowledge in those situations. He'd much rather look at the fight and figure out what's going to happen himself. Even with that, Goku already knows a lot about the world and can also make accurate predictions. It's just good that he knows quite little about how the gods and their powers work, since it originates from beyond the scope of Shenron's knowledge. This is because the gods aren't specifically from Universe 7. The Saiyans, although don't look as down and weak as they should, they're covered in blood, their bodies feel not only worn but brutally beat down, but they still feel like carrying on. Even better yet, they can almost feel themselves getting stronger, more exhilarated. It feels good in a way. Vegeta is stood ahead of Beerus and just takes slow but devastating punches to his face. He almost stops guarding once he starts getting this feeling, getting the rush from the pain of each hit. Beerus slowly walks him down, thrusting forward his vicious fists in the form of devastating punches. He just keeps on going and is confused about how Vegeta can keep taking these shots. Any normal person would eventually fall or submit. Even his legs don't seem shaky, it's weird. Suddenly, he stops, a little too spooked by his abnormal sense of grit and resilience. After receiving these punches, Vegeta wipes the blood that begins to drip into his eyes away before cackling. "Is that all you have?" Vegeta taunts, before rushing in. He socks Beerus with the first punch, throwing his head aside. "This is for that punch," Vegeta shouts, throwing his own uppercut. Beerus folds just like Vegeta did at the start. This looks almost like a mirror shot of what just happened. The tables really have turned. Beerus falls back, holding his stomach in pain, but doesn't let this get to him. However, even that won't save him. He looks around with more eagerness and focus, attempting to track down the fighters, but even Nappa is moving fast enough to be a slight blur. They really have gotten stronger. Nappa then walks him down with his guard up, and Beerus takes this chance to try and beat him down with punch after punch. Even if he is big and durable, he can't take anything and everything. After throwing a relentless flurry of punches, it seems to be so. Nappa can feel the pain and doesn't let it put him off. No, he uses it as a fuel. This pain isn't the water to put out the flame, but the wood to fuel it, intensify it. Beerus roars as he puts everything into his next shot. It slowly fires off toward Nappa, but he catches the shot, and then just tanks the quick punch that Beerus tries to throw after. "That won't work anymore," Nappa shouts, before kneeing Beerus in his chest. He then lifts him up and slams him down, making the entire vicinity quake. This increase in strength has gone straight to his raw power. It's almost scary to feel the rumbling under their feet. If it feels this intense for them, how did it feel for Beerus? He coughs out blood and tries his best to free himself from under Nappa's grasp, but there's nothing he can do. When he finds an opening, Nappa throws down a punch and uses all his weight to add to its power. The fight is over. Vegeta and Raditz are standing nearby just in case he manages to escape. Fighting 3 people that have individually surpassed him is a fool's game, and Whis can see this. Appearing in front of Nappa, Whis aims his staff ahead. "That's enough, Nappa, the fight is over," Whis says. "Only when we're winning you want to call it off. Whatever," Vegeta says, as he steps back and reverts to his base. Raditz does the same. Upon doing so, they get hit by this sudden rush of agony and weakness. Even the adrenaline rushing through their veins isn't enough to mask the wear and tear to their frames. As they fall, Goku appears by their side, healing them before they pass out. "Why would I stop now? The fight's only gotten started," Nappa calls out. Whis hears this, then taps him in the neck, knocking him out. "You 3 need to get a greater hold on those ultra ego states of yours. You are using the destruction powers well, but you cannot let it affect your mental state in such a way. You've surpassed every god of destruction, so now I must treat you all with a little more care," Whis states. Hearing that they're going to be getting similar treatment to Goku is kind of amazing to hear. It really shows them that progress has been made. They're in the playing field of the gods now. Soon after this point in time, there is the Tournament of Power, and the Saiyans need to form their team to fight with. Goku, Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz are automatics really, then they head to Earth to see who else is willing to be recruited. Once they arrive, they're surprised to see what they find. Frieza emerging from the hyperbolic time chamber almost like a new fighter entirely, covered in evaporated sweat and blood from his constant intense training. "If you Saiyans require a fighter for this tournament, I think it would be foolish to miss up on me," Frieza explains. He spent a few months training outside the chamber and an extra year inside of it growing stronger as well. Things are looking great for the universe. He's unlocked his golden form and knows that there is a step beyond that. He can just feel it. Along with that, they recruit Gohan. Before they leave though, he has given God Ki to give him that extra boost to his strength. They need some more fighters, 4 to be exact, and look to Goten, Android 17 and 18. The final member is Krillin and the roster is complete. For the tournament's preliminaries, Toppo must fight a member of Universe 7. Nappa respects his muscular physique and wants to test him. The large fighter descends and catches the attention of the gods with the golden ring on his ear. Raditz and Vegeta have those same earrings and make them further intrigued. Just how strong are those Saiyans up there? From those rings they can tell that they are trainees of Beerus. Toppo goes rushing off toward Nappa and looks like a slug to him. This is pathetic. He's been trained by a god of destruction and he's still this sluggish. "You have a muscular frame, but all that fat is holding you back," Nappa says, flushly throwing a right hand while slipping his jab. After that, he rockets in a swinging kick to his liver and Toppo loses his footing. He hides his face because he's gritting his teeth from the agony. Sweat starts to trickle down his face as well. That was not an easy shot to take in any way, shape or form. His body erupts with God Ki, then he leaps up to try and attack Nappa again. Landing a long straight punch to his body, Nappa still stands there and takes it. Tenting his abdomen, the attack does extremely little, then he grabs this outreached hand to swing him overhead as if he weighs nothing. Slamming him into the arena, the fight is already over. If Beerus sent another Saiyan to face Universe 6 in their little tournament, this Saiyan has to be weaker than that other Saiyan. The other universes start getting concerned. Can their fighters even do anything anything to face these supposed Saiyans. Toppo used his strongest form and still couldn't do a single thing. He got handled with ease. The tournament still comes around though, and the universes try their very best to assemble their strongest fighters. The 4 Saiyans stand side by side just scanning the arena to look for strong fighters. After Nappa faced Toppo, there isn't much hope though. Kakarot, you're not going to get to fight anyone, Vegeta states. It is pretty clear that these fighters just won't be doing much to hurt Goku. The ki they can sense coming off them just isn't that impressive really. Anyway, the fight begins and Vegeta goes straight for Jiren. Nappa goes for Toppo again, then Goku finds himself against Dispo and the remaining Pride Troopers. Frieza arrives in front of Frost, surprised to find another of his race. Frost tries to put on his ruse of kindness, making a stance. Frieza does the same, but isn't here for manipulation and deception. Those days are behind him now. He'll speak with his fists. Zooming forward, he cracks the arena and then cracks Frost's ribs with the first punch to his sternum. Following this, he throws up an uppercut and this just knocks him clean out. All Frieza has to do is grab his hand and throw him off the arena to eliminate him. How pathetic, Frieza says, before moving on to other fighters. Goku sees the fighters rush toward him, but with a single Ki blast he throws every single one of them off the ring, including Dispo. Next, Kaba, Caulifla and Kale all try to face Goku at once. Alright, let me use those powers, Goku states. During his training, Goku felt like the godly techniques were good but still narrowed his scope in terms of his versatility. Therefore, he asked Shenron for all the hidden techniques found across the universe. It turns out that there's been a lot of unseen techniques that have been lost for millennia, or never really spread that well. As he slams together his hands, 2 greyish beings that have his body type appear from out of nowhere. Before they move anymore, they both start breathing hellish flames. The flames are a dark red, not even with a hint of orange in them. The Saiyans get hit by the waves to start off, but leap away as fast as they can. This is when Caulifla and Kaba then start using Super Saiyan. They rush forward again, but these weird beings are just too powerful. One of them waves its hand outward, releasing a wave of flames that the Saiyans have to step back from. Caulifla then leaps in, reaching out her leg to try and attack it from range. However, it extends its arm almost as if it's made of some weird gum-like substance, and its fist cloaks in the hellfire. The punch knocks her straight to the ground head first and leaves her feeling disoriented. Kaba then slams into the other, pushing at it as hard as he can, and he just can't get it to budge. Goku then appears behind this fighter and submerges his hand into it. As this happens, it begins to grow up his arm and creates this monstrous muscular arm that looks like Nappa's. Punching him, he hits him so hard that he slides right off the ring and is eliminated. The other of these fighters grabs Caulifla to hurl her off as well. Kale is so scared upon seeing this and just loses control in the process. The adrenaline and nerves have gotten to her and she then ascends into a Super Saiyan Berserk state. He starts swinging wildly at the clone fighter but still can't get it to budge. One thing that Goku can see is that with each attack she is growing angrier, but not only that, she is growing stronger. Explosively growing and becoming a potential threat. This could be nice. Therefore, he just uses these clones to amp up her strength. He watches on closely, hoping that she can continue to grow. As a result, the clones start fighting in a different way. They try and break her apart, injuring her and forcing her back with their assaults, but they never go in to outright eliminate her. Goku's will is imprinted into theirs. He can indirectly command them with just a thought. They don't just obey his will, they're almost an extension of it. Kel shouts, looking around before Goku then lifts one hand. Several of these clone fighters appear but don't seem to be moving. In her perception as well, there is nothing but these fighters. Everyone else is gone, even the gods in the stands. Even her mind has gone and derailed. She can still realize this and finds it odd. Anyways, her mind is in the battle and she slams down her arms onto many of the clones but sees them just phase through. They begin shimmering and glitching before they disappear, and as this illusion breaks apart, one of them rushes out and kicks her in the sternum. This sends her flying back into the center of the tournament area. Kale continues like a raging beast but just carries on growing and growing. Champa sees this as his only hope of his universe surviving. However, Goku just isn't impressed. It will take days for her to grow strong enough to face him. She's strong now, yes, but it just won't be enough. I wish she was stronger. Maybe another time, Goku says. The clones stop moving and then shoot off with newfound speed. Both punching her at the same time, she flies off the ring and is sent up to the stands, knocked out. Vegeta stands before Jiren and flicks his ring as he smiles at him. So, you're the strongest of your universe. Show me what you have, Vegeta urges. Jiren doesn't buy into his confidence and his face remains as still as ever. Since Jiren doesn't move an inch, Vegeta takes the initiative and begins. In Super Saiyan, he shoots forward and flusters Jiren with his explosive movement. The speed he has is quite insane. Throwing a barrage of punches, he finishes off by slugging Jiren straight in his gut. Now that does the job. It shakes his whole body and drops him to his knees, where he is left holding his stomach in pain, panting. Jiren doesn't even have the strength or composure to lift up and look at Vegeta. His head drops and slams into the ground, but he summons the power to slam one foot onto the floor. He does the same for the other and raises back up to his feet. I thought you were the saving grace of your whole universe. This is a mere sliver of my power, Vegeta states, waiting for him to raise. Jiren destroys his shirt with his power-up. He holds nothing back now. His rage has stopped him from holding back. He doesn't even care anymore. He can't dishonor himself and his master. Leaping ahead, he swings up his leg for a kick, but Vegeta slips past it, then seamlessly grabs a loose rock in that same motion. Throwing it up, he kicks it straight toward the Pride Trooper and detonates it on impact. The large explosion and kinetic energy behind his throw launches Jiren to the ring's edge, with only a meter or two between him and the infinite abyss below him. Certain elimination, certain death. Vegeta then darts forward, and his stride is so powerful it makes it look like he's flying. Lifting both legs up to have his knees near his chest, he shoots them out and throws Jiren straight off the ring. Toppo looks excited upon seeing Nappa's advance. This time he'll get to have his revenge for being humiliated so badly before. Toppo kicks Nappa in his chest and it looks like he's hurting. Rushing in with this sudden urge of confidence, he punches him in the face and follows up with more kicks and punches. Finally, a strong side kick sends Nappa sliding back and he holds his gut in agony. Dropping to his knee, his breathing is intense and Toppo just scoffs. I knew you were nothing but a fluke. You flustered me in that fight before, I admit, but I've been trained directly by a god of destruction. You were never a match for me, Toppo explains. This makes the other universes that remain quite surprised. They were expecting Nappa to easily defeat Toppo from what they'd seen previously, but that doesn't seem to be what will happen. Beerus and Whis watch with totally still faces though. They know what is happening. Nappa just starts chuckling and his laugh grows more and more intense. What are you laughing at? You stand no chance, Toppo grumbles, tightening his fists. No, not true at all, Nappa says, standing up. Toppo doesn't even want to hear him talk. He doesn't want to accept the possibility that was a fluke. Rushing right in again, he throws his elbow into his chest, but instead gets a sharp pain down his whole arm. Nappa doesn't move an inch, and all the force is just sent straight back into Toppo's arm. Falling back while holding his arm in pain, he almost can't believe it. What is this? Nappa then grabs him by the neck, squeezing it so tight that he can't even breathe. You were no match for me back then, and in this short time I have reached new heights. Trust me, you never stood a chance, Nappa shouts, before throwing him out the ring. Toppo is gone, and the tournament ends shortly after. The fight is over, and the Saiyans have defeated every foe seamlessly. The strongest mortals in the multiverse, in history. They return to their own universe, and Frieza is praised for his efforts. It feels good to fight for the right cause, and to have all of these people not going against him but supporting him. Maybe the good side is the right side after all. Sorbet and what remains of the Frieza army are currently imprisoned. There's nowhere to hide with Goku and his nigh omniscience. His knowledge reaches each bound of the universe, nothing is left unknown. Now that Goku thinks about it, he knows one strong fellow that could possibly give him a good fight, and that is Broly. Shenron knows exactly where he is and Goku appears on the planet. Landing in front of the duo, they are very startled. To see another humanoid figure, a Saiyan, after all this time is quite terrifying. Goku does have a tail at this point, it was never removed. Instead, he used Shenron to wish for it to never control him. The form of Uzaru is redundant by this point, and therefore Goku sees no use in it. Who are you? Do you work for Frieza? Paragus shouts as Broly steps forward to protect him. They think so, but then again, he isn't wearing the Saiyan armor. Maybe he's some form of rogue Saiyan outside the army's reach. No, sorry, I mean no harm by coming here. Frieza no longer runs an empire. I defeated him a long time ago, and he's a changed man, Goku explains. Frieza, changed man? No chance, he was evil incarnate. There was no way he could change. Paragus shouts out, dubious of this claim. Yes, I held him captive for many years, and he changed things around eventually. There's nothing to fear. Actually, I'm here to take you guys off this godforsaken planet. There are more Saiyans that survived, more Saiyans that live on a planet called Earth, Goku furthers. I see. Why are there Saiyans living there and not on planet Vegeta? Was there overpopulation or something? Paragus asks. Oh right, these Saiyans don't even know about planet Vegeta. They've been left here for so long, gone rogue and just left out of the loop completely. Sorry, but Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza during his reign. Only a handful of Saiyans, including yourselves, remain now. Don't worry, he won't and can't do anything like that again. Paragus is left in silence for a time. His home world, gone. No more. It's a hard thing to stomach, since that's pretty much all he knew. He was a Saiyan which were a spacefaring race, but still, that was the only place you could truly call home. This, Vampa is no home, it's a hiding place, a safe house, not a home. With that, they're taken to Earth and Goku assures that this is not the same King Vegeta that sent them away when they see Prince Vegeta. He knows how they're going to react, well specifically Paragus, and he asserts that Prince Vegeta is not the same person. He's changed as well, but the man is still on edge in his presence. This means that there's no real bad blood in the upcoming fight between Goku and Broly. Both fighters stand before each other, with Goku bowing before the fight begins. Paragus lifts the control of his power to 30%, then the fight is on. Speeding forward, Broly slugs forward his right fist, but Goku steps by it and seems to disappear. Broly looks around and can't seem to find him. He's completely gone. Paragus is confused because he can see Goku standing right in front of him. Why does his son keep looking around? Finally, Goku fires in a punch to his sternum that sends him sliding across the icy terrain they've chosen to fight in. Now that shot hurt. Broly hasn't fought anybody that strong in his entire life. After growing past his father in his very early youth, he had to focus on his own solitary training to grow to this point. Broly continues on, but with Paragus' control on his temper and power, he can't do anything to win. Therefore, Paragus begrudgingly lifts the suppressions. He knows what Broly will become if he lets this go, but he can tell that these Saiyans are strong enough to control him, to keep him at bay. Broly starts beating his chest, shouting with this rush of power. He continues with a new sense of aggression, but there is still no way for him to hurt Goku. He can slip past every single attack that he throws so easily. He leaves only inches between him and the incoming fist or shin. He doesn't move more than he needs to. As he leaps back, he slams his fists together and a slim clone with his same hair appears in front of him. As Broly continues to fight, his rage grows. It isn't long before the wrathful form takes effect. His eyes glow a fiery gold and Goku smirks. Things are getting interesting. Shenron, what is that form? Goku asks. Never seen it before, but I have a theory. It's the Uzaru form in his base. It might be a form unique to him, but no other Saiyan has acquired such a state in the universe's history. Interesting. He continues to rush forward, but the clone suddenly detonates, releasing harsh flames with it. Broly lifts his hand and grunts from the pain of the harsh fire, then Goku flies straight through it to kick him in the face. The kick is so hard that he is sent through several icy mountains, just like how God Vegeta punched him in the canon timeline. Goku then appears beside Broly with the use of Shenron and he looks dazed. It takes almost 15 seconds before he returns to his senses and looks ready to fight again. Broly just carries on fighting in this wild, untamed way, and with the rate at which he grows, there's no way that he'll reach Goku's strength. Goku has climbed far past even Beerus by this point, so for Broly to go from the point he started at to Goku's in just this little battle is impossible. Goku sees this and decides to hold back on his desires for now. He knows that they'll both gain very little if he continues to beat down Broly. Paragus also isn't fond of watching his son getting beat around and thrashed in a fight either. However, they take Broly with them for training, for him to train that power so that he can learn to control it and tame it. That will stop him being a danger to those around him and to himself. Moro is kept soundly in prison, and so there is no chance for him to break out and cause the Moro arc. Finally, Granola summons Torombo to try and wish to be the strongest in the universe. Granola is totally rogue and isn't working for the Heaters. Actually, all of them have been captured and arrested by Goku and the Galactic Patrol. Granola still wants to get revenge on the Saiyans, but Torombo says to him that the feat is impossible. He cannot be the strongest in the universe, as the life force required is too high. This leaves Granola in a dark spot, but Manito is there to get him out of it once he realizes what he was trying to do. Finally, the universe is pretty much at peace. After so many years though, Frieza has something special to show the Saiyans. Black Frieza. He trained in the time chamber back on Earth and has now reached new heights entirely. Frieza arrives on Beerus' planet and stands beside Goku. Both fighters have teamed up for a special battle. Whis stands before them. Mortals, I must commend you for how strong you've grown. You've broken past the previous limits that God's placed on you, that you would always be physically inferior. However, it's clear that was never the case. With your dedication and hard work, anything is possible for you all. Now, I wish you all the best chance in this battle we'll have. Come at me with everything you have, Whis says, swiveling his staff to hold it in a more battle-suitable manner now. The top of it is aimed at the floor, and he grips it tightly. Frieza lifts into flight, showing off the new form that he's attained, his black form. To his right, Goku closes his eyes and is invigorated with the power of Super Saiyan God. Additionally, he uses Ultra Instinct to provide that extra boost to his battle ability. Frieza zooms off, then 5 grey clone fighters rush off with him. Frieza has no clue what these fighters are, and they haven't got the best chemistry to begin with. Frieza kicks Whis, who blocks his kick with a staff before swinging and destroying one of the incoming clones. He is a little flustered by what happens though, as hellfire goes flying out from the explosion. All Whis must do is leap back and spin violently, using the wind that blasts outward to keep himself shielded from the flames. It's a very intelligent technique and works like a charm. The other clone fighters rush forward in this way, with Frieza awkwardly trying to find openings so that he can attack himself. However, it all isn't enough. All the clones are defeated and Whis kicks Frieza back to gain some distance. Goku then lands by Frieza's side. He's been taking those few seconds to analyze how Frieza and Whis fight. It has been decades since he truly saw Frieza fight as well. Frieza has been training for so so long, and now he seems like a totally different fighter as well. He was more of a raw fighter before, relying on his talent, but now he fights like a skilled warrior. I'll keep him down for now. Rush back in there, Goku shouts, before his hair returns to black. Then out of nowhere, he is in the true Ultra Instinct form. Shenron already explained to him why he thought that Mastered Ultra Instinct wouldn't be the best route for him. It wouldn't let him fight like a Saiyan would, hinder his instincts that fuel him in the heat of battle. This form blends those instincts with the power of Ultra Instinct to give him just that power that he needs, to get him fighting at the highest level. White golden chains appear around Whis, then lock him in as Goku holds onto them tightly, flexing his muscular arms. Whis continues pushing and trying to extend his arms, but these chains are really keeping them in place. It's not even like Whis isn't trying either. Frieza shouts and takes this chance to kick Whis right in the gut, followed by swiveling and kicking his chin while he still has his arms strapped down. These attacks land flush and leave him stumbling since he can't balance as well without his arms. These fighters really have insane raw power. However, he pulls out and with his strength manages to break the energy chains apart. Wow, I wasn't expecting that, Goku says, before the same grey mass that makes his signature clone warriors envelops his arms. He releases a concentrated hellfire beam that is resembling of an energy wave. Frieza runs forward beside it, but Whis manages to use his nimbleness and battle intelligence to keep them away. Frieza acrobatically flips, trying to throw in a kick, but Whis uses his spinning momentum against him to catch him using his staff and spin him onto the ground. Goku then fires forward himself, throwing a straight punch that Whis predicts. His Ultra Instinct is too strong as well, leaving the fist to hit nothing but air, then Whis kicks him right in his chest. Now that hurt. Goku is left to retreat with Frieza, then Whis holds up his staff at them, waiting for their next move. What they can see is that he's actually breathing though, and has broken a sweat. He is trying as hard as he can here. What do we do? He's still too strong, Frieza says. Don't worry, we can still do this. We're relatively equal to him physically, he's just very smart, therefore we beat him at his own game, Goku states. Well, I wouldn't exactly say I'm that smart, how could we beat this billion-year-old god at that? Frieza asks. Goku takes a few seconds to think, to reflect. Whis might be older, but Goku knows more, much more. Whis might have lived through all those eons and eons as a god, but he won't remember every minute, every passing moment. And also, he only experienced that time through his own point of view. Goku knows almost everything that's happened in the universe up until this point. Anything that's out of his reach for his own memories, he can just refer to Shenron to gain that knowledge. Goku's head stores an unfathomable amount of knowledge about the universe, and to an extremely precise level. Here we go, Goku shouts, creating 4 clones by his side. Following this, he begins whispering to Frieza, telling him the plan. Frieza then smiles and nods. They can win like this. Chains go flying at Whis, but he isn't going to fall for the same trick twice. He starts striking them away, destroying them with the force behind each strike. However, this takes Whis' mind off things. Looking back up, he can see Goku's body appearing in multiple places at once, like ghostly images of him. Shaking his head, he tries his best to try and look through the illusion and does well. With his key sensing abilities that are still being disrupted, he can sort of make out what's happening. Frieza looks at Goku wrapping Whis in these chains and wonders why he looks so focused. Whis then starts evading attacks out of nowhere that aren't even heading toward him. The clones aren't even anywhere near him by this point. It looks weird to see from the outside, but Goku even stops upon feeling how hard he has to try to keep Whis contained. He continues wrapping chain after chain slowly, leaving his clone fighters to hold what looks like 8 chains in several different places. Now, Goku shouts as the illusion collapses. Standing beside Frieza, they both shout at the top of their lungs, showing off their true power. Whis has returned to his senses and realized what was going on. He thought he was looking past the illusion to make out what was happening in reality, but that was fake as well. An illusion within an illusion. He was totally trapped the entire time and there was nothing that he could do. Even the ki he could sense around him was fake. A plain and simple illusion Whis might have been able to resist. However, Goku made it so that Whis wouldn't even think of doing so in the first place. The fighters fly forward at full throttle, near equals in this regard. Purple and silver trails follow them and they both fire in punches at the same time to Whis' body. The punches are very powerful and the destruction of the chains releases quite a bright light. The clones vanish into nothing after this point and Whis is left on the ground with his staff by his side. There are a few seconds of silence with him staring up at the sky. Frieza and Goku just watch him as he's there, then a smile appears on his face. Good job guys, good job, Whis weakly says, before Goku then heals him. Whis shakes his head, relieved from the vanishing of the pain over his body. Lifting up to his feet, he takes his staff and nods at the duo. Brilliant job. I never thought this day would come, but it has. The 2 strongest mortals in history. I must commend you for this, Whis explains. Thank you Whis, it means so much, Goku says, and Frieza bows with politeness. Don't leave us out on that fun, I think we can take you on too, Vegeta says. Are you sure? Goku then asks, in a truly honest way and without a hint of contempt. Let's see how you do against Fusion, Vegeta shouts with Raditz by his side. Fusion? Ah, I see. Alright then, let's get this going, Goku replies. So that will conclude the final part to what if Goku absorbed the Dragon Balls. Please tell me something you liked about this what if, or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.